Alrighty. What's good, everyone? Joining up the live stream right now. How's everybody doing today? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hopefully, everyone's having a fantastic day so far. We're going to get the debates going here in a second. Only do send a guest request if you meet the set of criteria that'll be listed here on the TikTok screen here in a quick second. Do give us a quick second for us to get people up here. Give me a quick moment. We're going to post the Venmo and PayPal and the YouTube pins to make sure to do that real quick. We're also about to hit 450,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube, which is absolutely crazy. That's super cool. Super cool. What's up, Courtney? How you doing? What's up, Madison? What's up, Jen Prentice? How you doing? What's up, Patonia? How you doing? What's up, Toddy? How you doing? How you doing? 100 Thorns. How you doing? Josh, what's up? Absolutely like the video. Hit that thumbs up, everyone. It helps get it out to more people. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed in the TikTok screen. What's up, Matt? How you doing, man? How you doing, Matt? Hope you're having a good day so far. Hope you're having a good day so far. Alrighty, do give it a quick second. Sam, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. Totally agree. They definitely can't. They definitely cannot. Only can dish them, cannot, take them themselves. That's totally what it is. We're going to start getting some debates here in a second. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed here on the TikTok screen. We're going to need the debates going here very, very soon, everyone. Do give it a quick moment for us to get some people up here. Alrighty, let's get it going. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Please, everyone, only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up, how old are you? Yo, what's
Hello?
up, how old are you?
I'm 18.
What's your birth year?
2008.
Okay, 2008, what month?
I just turned 18 like 7 days ago.
Okay, and if you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Probably Trump.
Okay, why do you support Donald Trump?
I really like what he's doing with Greenland.
Okay, you want him to steal Greenland? You want to threaten to take Greenland? Who's a member of NATO? You want him to
I mean,
ask military officials to draw up plans to invade Greenland after Europe just sent a bunch of troops to protect Greenland?
a lot of the U.S. is desert, so we need more Greenland.
Oh, you're trolling.
Why would I be trolling?
Because that's not necessarily what the land is. It was actually called Greenland because of the fact that they were trying to mistake people with Iceland and Greenland. So actually, Greenland is more like actually Iceland. And Iceland
Why
is
are we
more
talking about
actually
ice?
like
I'm
Greenland.
talking about Greenland.
Okay.
Why are you switching the topic?
I didn't. I think you're trolling. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Please, everybody, only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed here on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up, how old are you? Yo, what's up, how old are you?
Sorry. Can you debate my dad?
Yeah.
Okay, wait 1 second. I'm sorry.
And how old are you, by the way?
I'm not of age, but this is just primarily.
Make sure to get a different account. Make a whole different account. And then send a guest request because I just don't want people to be able to click into your account given that you're a minor. Let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
You stupid liberal cunt. Stupid liberal fuck. You stupid liberal motherfucker.
I'm a stupid liberal? That's what you're saying? Why are you saying this under your breath? Do you want to debate me?
You can sniff my fucking asshole, you fucking cunt bitch.
What? Do you want to debate or do you just want to get mad at me?
Fucking prick. You little fuck. You look like a little twink.
Is this Brock?
Stupid
Brock, is this you?
you stupid little motherfucker.
Is this Brock? Oh, it actually might be. It might be Brock. Are you there? Hello? Brock? Oh, it is Brock. It is Brock. Oh, you already got it. You already got a flag for harassment and bullying. Crazy. That might have been Brock. That might have been Brock. Let's go to the next individual. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
18.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah.
And if you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Definitely Trump.
Okay, why do you support Donald Trump?
Policies mainly.
Okay, wait, what's your birth year?
2007.
Okay, alrighty. What policies?
Mainly like border.
Okay, such as?
Like he doesn't let as many people in.
Okay, how so?
Like he Biden, like they kept it open.
Yeah,
And
how
a
so?
bunch of illegals were coming in.
How so? Like through what policies?
Elaborate.
Through what
Sitting in a
policies?
box.
Did he just stop talking to me?
Sorry, what?
Through what
No,
policies?
sorry, what? Well, I don't really know what you mean. I mean, like, what do you mean, like, I don't know that specific policy. I just know that he, like, kept the border closed more than Kamala did.
Okay, so
and,
what did Biden do to open the border?
It's not that he kept it. It's not that he did anything to keep it open. It's that he just didn't do anything to keep it closed.
Okay, so he kept the same policy that Trump had?
What? No.
Oh, okay, so then he did change things.
No, he.
No?
You're not listening
so
to
he,
me.
So he kept the same policy that Trump had.
No, I don't know what you're asking me.
Okay. So then did you know at the end of the Biden-Harris administration, there was less daily border crossings than the end of Trump's first administration?
Wait,
so
repeat that?
apparently Biden inherited a less secure border than he handed over to Trump.
Well, it was probably more secure, like, in the beginning, and then, like, it got less secure because he did stop doing stuff about it.
So Trump had it less secure,
Yeah.
and Biden made it more secure, and then you're blaming Biden?
Reverse.
No, but like there was less border crossings at the end of Biden's administration, right, than the end of the Trump's first administration.
I don't think that's true.
It is true.
How is that true?
I can send you an article from Politico.
Can you read one? I just that doesn't make any sense because
The daily border crossings were higher at the end of Trump's first term than the end of the Biden
what
Harris
about during
administration.
what about like average like per day?
If you're talking about average from the over administration, yes, I agree. Biden's average was more than Trump's. What you're not understanding though is the very end of the administration, like when it was handed over to Biden and then Biden handed it over to Trump. By that time, the border was more secure when Biden handed it over to Trump than when Trump handed it over to Biden.
Well, the averages were still higher during the Biden administration, which means that like I don't know that I'm trying to think of the word.
Okay, so
that kind of makes him look more lousy.
that doesn't mean that it was caused by the Biden-Harris administration. That's because there was economic insecurity around the world due to global inflation and economic insecurity around the world. So more
And that
people decided
conveniently
to come.
happened during.
Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah, because of COVID. That's like blaming Biden for the 14.8% unemployment that happened under his administration.
I would blame him for that. Like, why wouldn't you?
You blame Trump for the second highest the highest unemployment since the Great Depression?
No, Biden.
No, but Trump was in office. So you blame Biden when he wasn't even president yet?
Well, wasn't he like Obama's vice president?
No, not in 2020.
No, but he was before.
Okay, yeah, when Obama was in office, which was the beginning of 2017.
So what's your point?
What's my point?
Yeah.
That Trump made the conditions worse, and then you're saying that he is better, right? Which doesn't make any sense.
I misspoke on that. All I'm saying is that like if your average is worse than something, then that would mean that you're like overall worse.
No, not necessarily. Because if you want to, like, for example, you want to compare with the trends of the economy, not just the overall numbers. Because, for example, Trump overall lost jobs his first administration. Did you know that? Are you going to look at that, or are you going to take into account the context of COVID? Or are you going to say, oh, Trump lost jobs?
I think COVID actually boosted the economy.
We're talking about jobs. No, it didn't. People had to go home because of the fact that there was a global pandemic. Maybe you weren't old enough because you were like probably 13.
Do you want an explanation on why I think that, or as to
Yeah?
why I think that?
Yeah.
So like, think about it like this: if like you're an employer, you're paying less money to people, which means you have more money, which means like a lot of the employers had more money.
So employers had more money back then because they were paying less in wages? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
There's also
Yes.
people spending less in the economy and buying less. So what's
Okay.
your
Well,
point?
if somebody
And also
gives
during
me
COVID, how many businesses went under because of the fact that there was less people buying their products?
was that rhetorical, or are you actually asking me that?
That's an actual question.
I don't know.
A lot. A lot of businesses went under. It was very good for large businesses and for very wealthy individuals, but for lower income and small business individuals, it was not good for them.
Okay, so when the like people who are already really wealthy and they get more money, what if like they give it to charity, meaning that like if it wasn't for COVID, then the
That's not
charity
likely
wouldn't
to
have as much
happen.
money?
It's not likely to happen.
Go look at
You're
the
hoping, you're just hoping and praying for the benevolence of billionaires, right? Which you have no good evidence to believe is going to happen, right? And it's better to acknowledge that we want to do a system that's going to force these conditions rather than leaving it up to individuals for themselves, because individuals themselves cannot do the change necessary in order to maintain society in the manner it needs to. We need to work together in order to be able to help out society, not just be like, oh, you're up to yourselves individually to do it.
What's your point with that? I don't.
We live in society. We have to do things. And in order to do things, it costs money. So we have to tax
Okay,
people. And, I would predominantly want to do that towards rich people because they have the ability to pay. And if we don't do this, all right, and we just leave it up to individuals themselves, it makes it harder for those individuals to even address problems because of the fact that they can't do that themselves.
oh,
Right? So
I
it
agree
makes
that I
most
agree
sense
that
to do it all together because that ensures we're going to solve the most amount of problems.
I agree that rich people should have to pay taxes, but like it should be like percentage wise, meaning that rich people are paying more taxes than poor people, but they're paying the same percent of their income.
No, that makes no sense because of the fact that they have a greater proportional ability to pay, given that they're spending a lower proportion of their income on basic things that they need to survive.
Okay, well, like 20% of a million is 200,000, but if somebody only makes like 10,000, then that's only $2,000. So they're still getting more. You're still giving
Yeah,
more.
yeah. So again, in one scenario, right, there's obviously going to be someone with $8,000 left over in order to be able to pay for everything they need in their life, whereas the person who makes $1 million will have 800,000. Okay, so proportionally, right, the person who gets the 800,000 take home, a very small portion of that is going to be their cost of living and necessities. Whereas for the person who only takes home 8,000, that's going to be not practically, it's going to be everything they have plus. Okay? So you understand that creates worse conditions for every typical person, although it might benefit the extraordinarily rich.
How would that benefit the rich that poor people have to pay
Yeah,
less money?
no, because if the tax rate was 20%, because you don't want to make it 50%, right? You can't make it as high
No.
given that you want to keep the same percentage for higher income as lower income. So say it was 20%. Well, that 20% is a lot more for someone who's lower income than someone who's higher income, and we'll have less money overall with this 20% than what we have right now in terms of revenue, which is going to limit how much we can do in terms of government spending. So not only are you going to limit government spending or hurt the deficit, but you're going to also create conditions where it's going to be worse off for lower income individuals. So, and you're essentially getting rid of standard deduction as well. By saying that you believe everyone should have the same tax rate, you say that you disagree with a standard deduction.
Okay, I get your point with people who are like dirt poor, but once you get to a certain point, there should be an equal tax, even if somebody makes $10 million more than somebody else.
I think that's absurd.
Okay, why?
I just told you. I just explained it to you. Did you listen?
You're not listening. No, I did. You're not listening to me. I said that I agree with you that if somebody's like dirt poor, then they should pay less taxes. But once you
No,
get
I
past
don't
a certain
think. Do you
point-
think someone making $30,000 a year should pay the same tax rate as someone making $30 million in a year?
No, I just said that. You're not listening to me. I
Okay,
said
so
that.
at what level of income should it start being the same?
Um, 5 figures, so 100,000 a year.
5 figures is 10,000.
Oh, I said that wrong. My fault.
6 figures,
Yeah, that's what I
100,000.
meant. Yeah,
Is this going to be adjusted for inflation, or is it just going to stay at 100,000?
What?
Yeah, is it going to be adjusted for inflation, or are you going to keep it at the same level?
Can you elaborate?
Like, for example, is it going to be 100 and say if inflation is 2%, is it going to be 102,000 the next year?
What, their income? What are you talking about? Why would their I'm not their employer.
No, the level of income you have to make in order for it to be the same tax rate as everyone else.
I get what you mean now. Okay.
Is it going to be inflation adjusted?
Sure.
Okay. So it will
What's
change.
wrong with that? Do you
Yeah,
disagree?
well, yes,
Why?
because
If
I
it's-
don't think someone making $101,000 should pay the same rate in taxes as someone making $100 million. I think that's absurd.
Okay, would you hold the same standard if somebody made $1 billion versus somebody who made $1 trillion?
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense because once you get to a certain point of money, then there's no like. It doesn't matter how much you make more at that point because you have so much that you're already making.
Okay, well, then you just prove the point as to why we need to tax rich people and billionaires.
How did I do that? No, you're
Because
not
it doesn't
listening to what I'm
change
saying.
their quality of life at all?
No, you're right. It doesn't. That's why I acknowledged like 18 times, but you're not listening to me. That once you get past a certain point, which I gave 100,000 as an example, then the tax rate should be the same for
Yeah,
anybody who
you
makes more
keep
than.
claiming that. I heavily disagree. And also,
Yeah,
so
and you
does
haven't
Trump.
been able to-
Trump also disagrees.
How?
Because there's still a progressive tax structure that exists through the TCJA.
Yo, I'm not lost. Why are they saying that?
Because you are.
Okay, so, wasn't the like economy really bad under Biden?
How so?
The gas prices were really expensive, and like
Okay. Was that because of
eggs.
Biden?
Yes,
How
obviously he
so?
was president
How did Biden cause that?
through, I don't know, bad economic policies.
Such as?
I don't know specifically, but I don't need to know specifically
No,
to see
no
that
economic
prices were
policy
more.
caused that. That's due to
I have
conditions
a
that are
brain, I can-
irrespective
I can-
of Biden. Like, for
I
example,
can acknowledge a pattern. No, I can acknowledge a pattern and see that if prices and gas were a lot more expensive during the Biden-Harris administration, then you'd be able to pair those two together and say that it's his fault. Like, why would that not?
Okay, so because of the fact that someone became, or someone's partner cheated on them under the Trump administration, would they have justification to blame Trump?
What? Cheated on? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I'm asking you. Say that happened.
Wait, repeat that?
Say that happened under the Trump administration. Would they have reason to blame Trump?
Say what happened? I don't know what you. What are you?
Their
bringing up
partner
now?
cheated on them.
What does that have to do with economic policy?
The point I'm trying to demonstrate is just because something happened under the administration does not mean it was caused by said administration. So unless you
Okay,
have
so explain how it
justification to
wasn't.
say that it was
Explain how it
caused by said, hey, shut up. Unless you have justification to say that they caused this particular thing to occur with a policy or something that they did, well, then it's just vacuous. The same way as someone claiming that, like, again, they blame the president because they got cheated on by their significant other. Like, again, it makes no sense. Just because it happened under the administration does not mean it was caused by the administration.
Okay, so you're actually stupid enough to think that
I'm
somebody
stupid.
cheating on somebody, so that a random person cheating on their partner is the same as economic policy when it
Dude,
comes to a president.
it's like you are purposefully, like, there's no way you're this stupid. Okay, you just called me stupid after literally not understanding the point I was making after I just described it to you. Okay, so what was the
Because your
reason I was
analogies-
comparing the two? Because just because it happens under the administration does not mean it was caused by said administration. If you
Yes, but
lack
you're-
the
but-
ability
but
to
by
comprehend what I'm saying, just tell me.
But yes, I'm comprehending what you're saying. But by making that analogy, you're implying that those are equal. Otherwise, you shouldn't make that an analogy.
Within
that's-
this one
that's like-
respect, within this one respect that I'm comparing.
Yes, but
if
that's
you know
so-
how
that's so
comparisons work.
different. That's so different. That's like comparing like assault and murder.
Dude, you cannot be this stupid.
Okay,
I
so I
told
have a
you
question.
what was the reason
So-
I was comparing them.
So, hold on. So explain to me.
What is the reason I
was?
was comparing them? Answer the question.
Wait, what?
What is
asking
the
me?
reason I was comparing them?
Because you were trying to prove me wrong. I don't know
Okay,
what you.
so just because it happens under the administration does not mean it's caused by the administration. Okay?
Okay, so you saying that clearly means you think that I'm wrong about that. So explain to me how it wasn't Biden's fault.
Okay, I got you. Because
Alright, do
the
it.
fact that there were supply chain issues relating to the pandemic that impacted inflation, alongside Trump signing a deal with OPEC that cut oil production, alongside the fact that there was the Russia invasion of Ukraine, which limited how much we're getting from Russia, which would have happened regardless of the administrations that were in office. So the things that
Okay,
were
well then he should
completely
have. They should have
Hold
been
up,
nicer
stop.
to Russia. They should have been nicer to
nicer
Russia,
to Russia.
so that they could keep getting the oil. Obviously, what kind of logic is that?
So do you think we're getting that oil under Trump's administration?
I don't know, but Biden was in for 4 years and he's only been in
No,
for
so
one.
so then
I'll
what
give him
you're
more
not
time.
understanding, is that, again, this would have happened regardless because of the fact that we had economic sanctions on them in response to the fact that they invaded Ukraine. Okay, that would have happened even if Trump were in office. So unless you're saying that Trump would have allied with Russia and been totally okay with them invading and taking Ukraine, even though he signed an agreement with Ukraine that literally says that if Russia invaded that we would defend them, right? Then, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, again, it's very clear.
What, did Biden sign that? Biden signed that?
No, it was signed in the 90s.
Oh, well then.
It's
Okay,
called
whatever.
the Budapest Memorandum.
Okay. Well, on another point, taxes were really high under the Biden-Harris administration.
Yeah, that was Trump's tax policy, genius.
Okay, well then why were
Yeah,
taxes lower during
that was
Trump's
still
administration?
Trump's tax policy. So
Well, then why-
you were
why
just
was it- why
saying
was-
that, oh my God, taxes were so high under Biden's administration. Well, that was Trump's tax policy.
What does
So
Dean raid
I don't
mean,
know
and
why.
are they
I don't know
saying
why
that?
you can't acknowledge that. What?
What does Dean raid mean? Why are they saying that?
People are joining in from Dean's live because he just is ending his live right now.
Oh, okay. So also, then why were taxes lower under Donald Trump if it was his tax code? I'm not saying it isn't his tax code, but regardless of anything, I'm saying that the taxes were lower under Trump.
Because it was Trump's tax policy that applied throughout 2025. Okay, meaning
You didn't.
that it had
no, I don't think you're
different.
understanding what I'm asking. You're
Yeah,
not understanding what I'm asking.
I am explaining. You just aren't patient. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
Okay, finish.
again, the difference in terms of the amount of taxation is predicated off of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Trump set it up for some tax cuts to expire by 2021. Push the hand art. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
so you're saying that in his tax policy that some of them expired in 2021, which higher taxes under the Biden-Harris administration.
Yeah, Trump
raise them.
himself within the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act literally made them expire at 2021.
Okay, can you tell me if he signed that before the result of the election or after?
The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act?
Yeah, it was before, right?
What? The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was literally from 2018. 2017,
Okay, so
sorry.
I just wanted to clarify before you try to never mind. So are you trying to suggest that he like deviously decided to make it into 2021 so his political opponent would have to deal with higher taxes?
It very well could be that he was setting it up that way. I'm not quite sure
Okay,
that
well,
was
at that
his
point, he didn't-
intention. but
Yeah,
it
but
very
he
well
didn't-
could be.
He didn't know
I
he
think
lost
that's pretty
yet.
probable.
The election was like multiple years away, so he didn't know he lost yet. So why would he
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah, he thinks he won, by the way. So again, I'm just saying that that's something that he very well could have done. That's not something I said that there was necessary evidence for.
Okay, so what? Why? Okay, so then why didn't Biden change it? Why didn't Biden make a new tax policy instead of
Because
keeping
that's
it there for all
Congress
these years?
that determines that.
Okay, well, why didn't he like suggest it or anything? He just kept it the same. He didn't try to do anything.
So Biden did want to change the tax policy. He just can't do that himself. Okay,
Can't
it
he
relies
sign an
on
executive
Congress
order?
and getting past the filibuster.
Can he sign an executive order or something?
Executive orders don't change that policy.
Well, what if he
Okay,
signed one that
it's
said that
congressionally
changed it?
based.
What if he signed one that
Push that mustache.
changed that?
What?
What if he signed an executive order that changed that policy that you're talking about that would prevent him from making his own tax policy?
What if he signed an executive order that prevented him from making tax policy? What? Beyond think of the drums.
I don't think you're understanding what I'm asking. I'm saying, like, why didn't he sign an executive order to make it to where he could legally make his own tax policies?
That's not how it works, genius. You can't
Isn't
just
that gonna
change he can't just change the law and make it so that he can just affect that. That's constitutionally based. The Constitution grants those powers. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. You can't write an executive order that overrides the Constitution. It will just get shot down by the Supreme Court.
Okay, then. All right, whatever. So, why do you support Biden? What's so good about him that you like decide that you want to go out of your way to go on a live like every other day or whatever? And
Because I think that
And-
they're preferable to Trump, because Trump doesn't have a health care plan, a child care plan, a housing affordability plan. Democrats do. Democrats
Okay, I have
want
a
to
question.
expand access to health care, child care, housing affordability, and education.
say somehow Trump was legally allowed to run for a third term. Would you vote for Biden or would you vote for Trump if they ran again?
If it was Biden v. Trump again, I don't know why that would happen. But if it were Biden v. Trump again, I would vote for Biden.
But he's like not mentally well enough to be the president.
Dude, if you think Trump is mentally well enough to be president, I'm sorry, but you need to get checked out yourself.
Okay, more than him, more than Biden.
What? No, definitely not.
he's-
I mean, did Joe Biden say we should look into disinfectant by injection to fight COVID-19? Did Joe Biden stare up at a eclipse twice? Double take the eclipse with his bare eyes? Did Joe Biden say that windmills were causing whales to die in numbers never seen before? Did
Okay,
Joe
I
Biden
didn't
say
say
that
that-
if Jesus were the vote counter in California, that Donald Trump would have won the vote?
Okay,
Did
that's
Joe
stupid.
Biden say that we should nuke hurricanes to fight them?
What?
Okay, these are all things Trump has said. Okay? I can play
Okay,
the clips.
I didn't say that I like loved Trump. I'm just saying I support his policies as president. I'm not saying that I agree with his stupid ass comments that don't make any sense.
So again, the point I'm making is that Trump has had just as much, if not more, cognitive decline than Joe Biden, but the media just doesn't talk about it as much. He's fell asleep more times. He said just incoherent
disagree. I
gibberish
think
more
that-
times.
I think the media is like way more liberal. So why would they not want to focus? Why would they not want to focus on that?
There's a lot of Republican media. What are you talking about?
There's like one.
And just because there's liberal media doesn't mean that they're always talking about everything that is relating to Donald Trump's cognitive health. Even Donald Trump
You're like-
himself literally said that questioning his cognitive health was engaging in sedition, perhaps even treason. Did you know
Dude,
that? He posted that on
Wait, what
Truth
did he
Social.
say?
He said
What
the
did
New
he
York
say?
Times questioning his cognitive health was engaging in sedition, perhaps even treasonous action. Okay,
Isn't
did you know
treason
that?
just, like, can you get executed for treason?
Yeah, that's what he was claiming.
Okay, that's stupid. I'm not. As I said like 10 times, I don't support everything about Trump, but I said I supported his policies. And
Okay.
you keep giving me every time I bring
What
the point up,
policies?
Okay, maybe policies isn't the like the way he. I don't know what term to use. The way he's president, like the
The way he's
I don't wanna use the
president.
word- I don't. Oh, no, you're backing me into a corner because I don't want to use the word policy because you're gonna like twist my word because I don't know the dictionary definition of policy and you're gonna like.
I'm not going to ask you the dictionary definition of policy. Can you
I
name
didn't say you were
all
gonna ask me
policy
that. I
that
said
you
you were
like?
gonna use. I said you were gonna use the dictionary definition of the
How about
word
this?
policy to
How
make
about
me look
this?
like an idiot.
Name a policy that you like of Trump's. Oh, you're swiping out of the app to go look it up?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do that. That was an accident.
Name a policy.
I'm literally in the app. I'm in the app. I'm literally in the app.
Name a policy.
Like the specific name.
Yeah.
I don't know a specific name. That's why I said I didn't want to use the word policy. But like I've heard him talk before, and I know that Trump says stuff that I would agree.
You
with
don't know
him
a
on.
single specific policy of the Trump administration that you like, yet you're willing to sit up here and bat for Donald Trump in front of thousands of people?
I don't know the law name of it. Okay, I just know that like he has. I like his.
What did it do?
Is ideology the right word?
You like his ideology. What about his ideology? Thank you, by the way, everyone, for joining in from Dean's Live. I really appreciate it. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It will help get out to more people. Let's try to get to 1 million likes.
To
If you're on
clarify,
YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Right now, we have a guest on the live right now that is unable to answer basic, simple questions. Go ahead.
I think are you the guest because you haven't answered like any of my questions?
Obviously, you're the guest, genius. I'm sorry I had to tell you that.
Yeah, I know. You were insulting me because I know you love doing that.
Well, I mean, it was true.
Okay, so if there's a disabled
I don't
woman
even
in a
know if that was
wheelchair
like
and
an
you think she's
actual insult.
ugly-
I was literally just describing what's happening on the stream.
So if there's a yes, but you could have said that way nicer. So if there was like a disabled woman
Okay.
in a wheelchair and you thought that she was ugly, are you gonna go up to her and tell her that and then say, "Oh, sorry, I'm not mean because it's true"?
No, I just don't think that's comparable. I was simply just describing that you couldn't answer basic questions on the live stream because we're debating, okay? And it's relevant
Okay.
towards the people who are joining in.
Tell me what
That-
question I can't answer. What question can I not answer?
What was I just asking you? Do you remember?
Do you?
Yes, I do. I'm asking you, what did I just ask you? Because I've literally
Well-
asked you multiple questions you have not been able to answer.
You asked me what Trump policy I supported, right?
That's one of them, yeah.
Okay, I don't. As I said, I supported his ideologies. Which can you clarify? What's the definition of ideology?
Ideology is going to be like certain type of views that someone holds
Yeah,
to.
like ideas.
That
that
is
somebody has.
in a certain category, right? So that
I
like
support
like
his-
an ideology
okay,
is a category of certain beliefs.
I support his political ideologies. Or ideology. I don't know if I'm using that.
Okay, so like
correctly.
what particular ideological beliefs?
Closing the border.
Closing the border. Okay. Okay. Why do you support that?
Because when you have a lot of illegal immigrants in the country, it can take jobs from Americans who are citizens.
Nope, that's not what happens. Actually, it increases the level of employment for natural-born U.S. citizens. Did you know that?
Okay, explain to me how. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, it does make sense because many of the jobs that undocumented immigrants and documented immigrants fulfill make other jobs more efficient. They also demand goods and services themselves, which creates more jobs as well. So it's not just that they're fulfilling these particular types of jobs, it's also that they're demanding more jobs.
That would be the case, but since there's so many of them, anytime that the result of an immigrant being in the country creates more job opportunities, more immigrants just take them.
Wait, actually, say that one. Actually, one more second here. Rocket League, how old are you? Rocket League, how old are you?
His name is Rocket League. What do you think?
How old are you? Okay, well, go ahead. You were saying, go back and say what you said, Diamond.
I think I said that if an illegal immigrant comes in the country and as the result of that illegal immigrant being in the country creates more jobs, since there's so many coming in that they'll immediately just take those jobs.
Okay, so if more people are coming to the country and they're demanding products, isn't that going to create more jobs as well?
Repeat that what?
If they're coming into the country and they're demanding goods and services, things that they need to survive, isn't that going to create more jobs within the country as well?
Yes, but as I just said, that there are so many immigrants coming in that they just get immediately taken up.
You said there are so many undocumented immigrants that what?
I'll repeat myself again. If an illegal immigrant comes in the country and the result of that illegal immigrant being in the country creates more jobs, since there are so many illegal immigrants coming in, that those jobs that were created or that are there because of an illegal immigrant will immediately be taken by more illegal immigrants, meaning American citizens never got the job.
No, it increases employment rates for natural-born U.S. citizens. So it increases the amount of jobs for undocumented immigrants and documented immigrants. But do you think that documented immigration, legal immigration, has the same effect?
I don't know. I don't study whether or not specifically legal immigrants create more jobs.
Yeah, you think it should be. You think legal immigration should be allowed to occur. So if we just made the process legal for undocumented immigrants, like gave them a pathway to citizenship, wouldn't that get rid of any negative impact you're saying is applicable, insofar as you wouldn't want to let someone come into the country?
Wait. Well, you're saying that, doesn't that imply that I think that legal immigrants create more jobs that are taken by illegal immigrants?
No, you're not understanding. If we give a legal pathway or legal residency to undocumented immigrants, well, then any negative impact that you're associating with undocumented immigration, it would not exist anymore, right? Because you don't think that that same problem exists with legal immigration, because you don't want to restrict illegal immigrants from coming to our country.
Wait, repeat that. Sorry, I'm distracted.
You don't want to restrict illegal immigrants from coming to our country, correct?
No, I think that more should be allowed to come in.
Okay. So if you believe more legal immigrants should be allowed to come in, if you provide a legal pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants that have not committed a violent crime or bad crime, wouldn't that just get rid of any negative impact you're associating with them being an undocumented immigrant?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you would support that without supporting mass deportation, because it's going to get rid of any negative impact you're referencing.
I think that once it gets to a certain point, mass deportation is necessary because it's not going to be realistic. Like, everybody on Earth is going to be dead by the time we give citizenship to every undocumented immigrant because there's so many that
No, we don't have. We only have 14 million undocumented immigrants in the country. I don't mean we should just allow every single person from around the world to come to our country. I think that we should increase the amount of immigration. But for those that are already in the country undocumented, we want to ensure that they have an incentive to identify themselves to authorities so that they're not exploited, so that they can speak up if they see a crime that's committed, and they have an incentive to be a witness, so that they're paying more tax revenue into the system, right? And that they're able to work in the system like everyone else. So obviously, we have these incentives to ensure that undocumented immigrants have a process while also making the legal process go quicker.
Yo, why is somebody saying free Epstein in your chat?
That's ridiculous. It must be a Trump supporter or some troll.
Why would you assume that? I'm a Trump supporter, and I don't think that anybody, if Epstein was still alive, I don't think that.
Because the only people that have said that are Trump supporters.
So you're saying for a fact that the only people on Earth that have ever said free Epstein, that have ever said this
in my life, yeah, in my life, have been Trump supporters.
How do you know? Did you put them in the? Did you
accept their guest request?
So you've talked to every single one that's ever said that.
Any single one that I've ever seen. That's what I've seen. They're a Trump supporter.
Because you talked to every single one of them.
The ones that came up on my live, yes.
Okay, I'm not pivoting. Somebody just said that. What were we talking about? Oh yeah.
You tell me.
That's another thing that undocumented immigrants, when they come into the country, they don't pay taxes, but they use government benefits.
Undocumented immigrants do pay taxes, and they don't receive any federal benefits.
No, they don't, because they get deported. Because then the government would realize that
That's government spending money on them. So you want the government to spend money on undocumented immigrants?
No, I said that they are, and they shouldn't be, and it makes it even worse.
Well, deportation costs money.
I don't mean like that. I meant like
it would cost less money to provide them a pathway to citizenship where they don't have to leave the country, and they would pay more tax revenue into the system, paying for anything anything that they got.
What about them, like murderers and rapists? Like what or should I not say that word?
Well, they shouldn't be allowed into our country. They should be deported. And if you care about them, then you wouldn't want to allow the president of the United States, who literally was held liable of forcefully penetrating a woman's vagina against her will, to be president of the United States. And you'd want to vote for Democrats so that in 2027, they can literally impeach the guy. That is what Democrats should be running on right now. Vote for us because we will literally impeach Trump. Okay? Literally.
Explain to me how Trump raped E. Jean Carroll.
He was held liable of forcefully penetrating E. Jean Carroll's vagina against her will amongst a unanimous decision of 9 people in a jury.
Was that like barely a majority?
No, it was by unanimous decision in a jury.
I thought you just said it was. Never mind. So
I said a unanimous decision in a jury.
Okay, so explain to me how it's. Earlier when you kind of pivoted from what I was talking about and kind of changed the subject because I think you knew you were wrong.
I didn't pivot. You're the one who pivoted this whole conversation.
You changed it. You changed it from. You changed it from undocumented immigrants. I brought up a point and I said that undocumented immigrants are getting government support, which costs taxpayer dollars and they don't pay taxes.
No,
which
you
makes
brought
it
up
even worse.
murderer and
And
rapist.
then no, hold on, and then you responded by saying, by trying to bring up like an argument that it costs more money to deport them than like make them a legal citizen.
Yeah, that is totally on topic.
No, but you're taking you know that that's not what I meant, and you're trying to like you taking that out of context.
If you're trying to look at the taxpayer cost of undocumented immigrants, I'm saying the taxpayer cost of undocumented immigrants would be higher if you agree with mass deportation as compared to mass amnesty.
Over time, it wouldn't be.
Over time it would be more costly to engage in mass deportation because of the negative impacts on our GDP, especially in terms of tax revenue.
Listen to this. I know it costs money because you gotta like pay the ICE agents to deport the
Yeah.
undocumented immigrants. But after most of them are deported, then that's like one huge cost. But think about it like over time
you could have had more
giving
tax
housing-
revenue because
no,
they're in the
giving
country, they're
housing-
working.
Yeah, but it's not realistic to be able to give them all citizenship in a few years.
Yes, it
so
is.
That's not. How is that possible? There's not. Like,
It is totally possible. You
But you said
literally,
that- and isn't
here's
there
what you
like
do.
89 million?
Here's what you
Isn't there
do.
like
You take all the
89 million?
funding that they're putting into militarizing ICE, and you put that money into a legal pathway, not only for undocumented immigrants that are already in the country, but for those that are coming to the country by making it quicker. And that's how we would specifically address the conditions of the border. You make the legal process actually legitimately quicker. Right? So it's safer and quicker for everyone. And then you also provide mass amnesty by saying, okay, if you're an undocumented immigrant, you have not committed a violent crime or bad crime, go to these particular immigration offices, right? And you can literally, go for a pathway, right? And you have to get vetted, right? But you don't have to leave the country because that would actually provide them an incentive to go through said process rather than staying in the country without identifying themselves to authorities. So then they can get papers, then they can get status in the country that's legal, right? You know, we can know who they are. We help them, they help us. And that's the best process to do this rather than have them live in the country, but underneath the guise of being in the country undocumented. Because that just only helps other people exploit them.
Well, I personally believe that more citizens is bad because it costs more to keep a citizen, or not to keep a citizen, but to sustain a citizen than they get in taxes, and that's why the U.S. national debt is constantly going up.
Can you give me a source that it costs more to bring people into the country than they're going to be paying into our tax system? I heavily disagree with that.
No, not
I
bring
think
into
that
the country, but
I
keep
think
them as a
that
citizen.
immigrants coming to our country, they have a higher labor force participation rate than natural born U.S. citizens.
I didn't say that. I said to keep them in the country. For a citizen in general, they're making the country lose money.
So any citizen in general, staying in the country makes us lose money?
Most of them.
That doesn't make any sense because then we would have because then again every single person living in our system, right?
Well, then why is the national debt going up?
Dude, this guy doesn't listen.
Why is the national debt going up?
Yeah, I'll tell you if you can be patient. Right?
Yeah,
it's because we're spending trillions and trillions of dollars on wars all around the entire world, right? Rather than spending it here at home on people in need. And we're also not willing to increase taxes on rich and wealthy Americans in order to be able to make up for that.
You don't know what's crazy? You pick your opinions based on what's better for your arguments. Like
I pick my opinions based
earlier-
on what the best arguments are. Wow.
Yes.
What a crazy idea.
No, like you'll have contradicting opinions depending on what argument you're having.
What
Earlier you were talking about how.
What contradicting
Can I tell you?
opinion?
Can I
Yeah,
tell
tell
you?
me.
Earlier you were mentioning a bunch how it's a good thing that we're helping out Ukraine, which is funding a war, and then you just blamed the entirety of the national debt on war. And national
Do you
debt's
understand that funding Ukraine, one, we signed an agreement with them. Two, that's a very small portion of the overall budget. I'm not saying we can't have a military budget. I'm just saying we're overspending on the military. Bro,
But
Jesus
doesn't that prevent
Christ.
us from, couldn't that prevent us all? Couldn't that prevent all of us from dying in an invasion?
No, because of the fact that
Yes,
I
but
would
a higher,
still.
yes, but a
Hey,
higher
listen,
military budget
listen,
means that
listen.
we have better defense in the country.
Listen. I still support having the largest military in the world. I just think that we have way too much. We're spending $1.5 trillion a year on the military. The next nation is like $380 billion a year, okay? There is no reason why we should be spending that much on the military. We are way overspending, okay? And it's not even for our defenses. It's for the
I
offense.
disagree.
Okay, Trump is
I can tell you
literally
why.
trying to steal stuff from other countries, whether it be oil, whether it be minerals, right? Trump is trying to act like he can literally just take things from other countries, like we're in the fucking 19th century, right? And we can just bully other countries because we're larger than them. That's literally what
I
Trump
think
believes in.
I think that and I think that every president has done this for a while, and it's that
Really? When did Joe
the
Biden do that?
no, I'm talking about something else. That has to do with military budget. Um, I don't think that they're spending the money that on
We spent $1
military
trillion,
defense.
less than $1 trillion. It was $900 billion, right, under the Biden-Harris
No,
administration.
no, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying that in terms of military budget, I think that they're not spending it on what they're saying they're spending it on.
Well, I don't know what you're saying. You're not making sense.
They're lying. They're not actually spending $1 trillion on the budget. They're saying that they are, but in reality, they're spending it on.
Trump is the
like-
one claiming they're spending 1.5 trillion.
Okay, well, how much did Biden claim that they were spending?
Less than 1 trillion. It was like 900 billion.
Okay, he was doing the same thing. I said all of them were doing it.
I
they're
think
not
1
spending
trillion, 900 billion is already too much. I think we could have cut it in half and still had more than $100 billion than the next country, right? And that would be good. But
You're
again,
not listening to me at all. I'm saying that we're not.
What do you mean
we're
I'm not listening?
spending,
Dude, you are not making fucking sense then. What the fuck are you saying? Genuinely.
that we're not. That the government is lying, and we're not actually spending the military budget on military. We're spending it on
So you're okay with Trump increasing the budget of something that you know that they're not spending on that. Okay? So what are you fucking talking about? Why do you
I'm saying
support that
Biden has
then?
been doing that too, so he's in the wrong for that.
Dude, can you give me like a source to indicate that?
Yeah, but
Because I agree that they can't pass the audits, but the claim you're making is unsubstantiated.
How?
I said it's unsubstantiated. You have yet to provide the substantiation.
Okay, so
Jeez,
but
bro.
I'm obviously I'm saying I believe that Trump is in the wrong for that, but I'm saying so is Biden, and you like
In the arms of an angel.
what? Are you gonna respond to what I said?
You didn't say anything of substance.
Yes,
You just repeated the same point.
No, I didn't. Biden is also doing that. So like,
That's
what
you're
do you
repeating
agree
of
with
the
that?
same point. You've already said
Do you
that a
think that
million
Biden's?
times.
Do you think that Biden's okay for doing that?
I told you already, I disagree with the level of military budget that the Biden-Harris administration had.
No,
I think it should be
no.
less than that. I just
I'm
think that
saying
the
Biden
Trump
and
administration is
Trump
doing
and-
even more than that.
I'm saying Biden and Trump and a bunch of other presidents before have all been lying, and
Okay,
I'm
what's
not a
your source?
fetus. I don't want to say that because you're probably just gonna judge me and call me an idiot.
Tell me, what's your source?
I don't even know what to do here because you're either gonna, if I don't give you the source, you're gonna say I'm lying and I don't have a source, and if I give you the source,
So
you're
just
gonna
provide
call me
the source.
It wasn't a website. It was like a TikTok video that I saw. Yep, and you're laughing at me. That's
Who
why I
made
didn't
the
wanna say it.
TikTok?
I don't know. Is that one guy who like yaps about the pyramids of Egypt all the time?
Wow, that sounds like a really reliable source.
No, I don't know what his name is. Stop
Really
calling
reliable.
me a fetus.
Really reliable source. Samantha, thank you so much. I really appreciate the dollar. Thank you so much. I definitely will try to. Thank you very much, Samantha.
I didn't Google.
Danielle-
Ask him because it shows him when I go off the app. I didn't Google anything.
Yeah, Samantha, thank you so much again for the dollar. They said, love the new Snapchat stories. Yeah, I opened up my Snapchat again. I've been posting like stories. I did something earlier. It was really fun.
Can you tell them to
I'll
stop
definitely
calling
do
me a
more for that.
fetus?
No, call him a fetus. Daniela, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much, Daniela. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Ken, thank you for the $100 on Venmo. Can we get some W's for Ken in the comment section right now? Thank you so much, Ken. I really appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much. And for the kind message, thank you so much. I really will. I definitely will. Thank you so much. W's for Ken in the comment section right now. Kieran, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know, it's absolutely crazy. Bruno, thank you for the $1.50. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. It would be a net loss for them. I totally agree. Thank you so much, Bruno. As well as thank you for the dollar. Thank you so much. I'll definitely have to make sure to look. I haven't seen that quite yet. Kirsten, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $15. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Can you try asking them to name some things that they don't like about Trump? I'll definitely make sure to ask them that. And then Bryce, thank you so
Name?
much for the $9. Thank you so much. Sam, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. Paige, thank you so much for the $5. W. Lenny, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I
fetus.
totally get you. Thank you very much. Doug, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much, Doug. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. They said the U.S. spends more money on our military than the next 22 countries combined. That's crazy. That is unhinged. The fact that anyone would defend that is absolutely crazy to me. Hannah, by the way, thank you so much for $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Hannah. I have no clue, honestly. I have no clue.
Because they spend like $1, so it's easy to spend more than them.
Hey, dude, chill out. Let me say thank you to all my donors.
Okay,
Ashley,
sorry.
thank you so much. Really appreciate the $30. You have a good night as well. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Mason, thank you so much for the $2. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. As well as Chalupa Batman, thank you for the $25 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much, Chalupa Batman. Thank you. For this fetus sucks. Doesn't know how to substantiate his claims. Lamau.
I'm not a fetus.
Probably doesn't know the 3 branches of government. Ha ha ha. Well,
Yes,
I mean,
do.
that's probably because his prefrontal cortex and thalamocortical connections have not
Legislative,
fully
executive,
integrated
judicial.
his mind and
I
body
just said
quite
that.
yet.
Yeah, you should
Luis, thank
tell
you
that
so much. I really
idiot who
appreciate the
jumped out
$5.
there.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Luis. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Include some W's for them in the comment section right now. Thank you. As well as Luna, thank you for the 12 euros. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Include some W's for Luna in the comment section. That's crazy, crazy thing. Thank you so much. Zach, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much, Zach. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And Najia, thank you so much for the $5. No, my Cash App still isn't working, very sadly. Bund, thank you so
I'm
much.
not
Really
a
appreciate the
fetus.
$2. Thank you. On the Beard, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. Darsel with the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Can you get some W's for Darsel in the comment section? Linal, thank
No,
you so
because
much
they're
for
too busy calling me
$5
a fetus.
as well. Hey, dude, what are you? Okay, fetus. Can you tell me why you get so mad when people are spamming calling you fetus?
Because that's really rude.
Why?
Because it's implying that I'm stupid.
No, it's implying that you're a fetus.
Yes, but fetuses are stupid because they don't have any brains, or they do, depending on how developed they are. But they obviously are. They're out of stupid isn't the right word. Uneducated.
Joseph, thank you for the $5. Thank you.
This is,
So
you're
I-
asking me stupid questions. How is that? Obviously, since they're a fetus, they're not going to know anything. So they're basically saying that I don't know anything by calling me a
Heather,
fetus.
thank you for the $5. Thank you for the fetus
I'm not
crash
a
out.
zygote.
Thank you.
Stop calling me a zygote.
You are a zygote and a fetus. Did you know that?
See, you're rude.
Look
and
at
that's
this
what you
triggered
it's like,
fetus, dude.
I'm not a fetus.
Yeah, you are. You're a triggered little fetus.
Tell me how I'm a fetus. You can't tell me how I'm a fetus.
You are a fetus.
Okay. what are
Mike,
the
thank you so much
qualities
for
of
the
fetus?
$5.58. Thank you so much. If you think the guest is a fetus, type 5 in the comment section.
Okay. All right. So I want you to
Dude,
explain to me.
look at all these people that think you're a fetus. Look at
Yeah,
this.
because they're all your little goons who support everything that you say.
Well, they're part of the Parker cult. W Parker cult. Can we get some W's for the Parker cult in the comment section right now? Hey, dude, you should join the Parker cult. It's good over here, man.
Hey, say 4 if you think I'm not a fetus. They're all gonna start saying 4 now.
Say 5 if you still think he's a fetus.
Say 4. Okay, tell them to say 4 or 5 if they think I'm not.
Okay.
scared
Well,
'cause you
you
know
already
me.
did.
Yeah, but they'll listen to you, not me.
Oh, you see how no one's saying 4? Everyone
Yeah,
thinks you're a fetus, bro.
I'm seeing multiple people say 4.
Yeah, where?
My
Nice
chat's
cherry
not loading,
picking.
I'm serious.
Tracy, thank you for the $25. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for your
sure,
trouble
sure.
dealing with this fetus. Thank you so much, Tracy. I
I'm
really
not a
appreciate the
fetus.
$25. Thank you so much.
I'm not a fetus. Can you actually stop calling me a fetus? It's like actually like getting under my skin. Because
Okay,
it's
man.
like really rude.
I will stop
just saw
calling
5
you a
people say 4.
fetus. Okay, I
Okay,
will
so
stop calling you a fetus.
You still yet to respond what I said. You try to
What
I
did
bet
you
you hoped
say?
I forgot because you know I was right. So I was saying if Biden did the same thing that we were talking about earlier, then why would you support that? Like, okay, so Trump did it. I don't support that, but why would you support Biden doing that? Just because he
Biden doing
like,
what?
lying about what they're spending the military. budget
Why
on?
do you keep saying that without substantiating it? What's your source? Other than just saying I saw TikTok.
It was the guy. I don't know what his name is. Can somebody like in the live like tell me what I'm talking about? I don't know what his name is. It's
Can
the
someone
guy
tell
who,
me what I'm talking about? Hannah,
No,
thank you
no,
so
that
much
is
for the
not what I said.
$10.
You-
Thank you so much. As well as the L Hollywood. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the $20 for just paying my cult dues and to call this kid a fetus. Thank you so much.
I'm not a fetus.
Hannah said
whatever,
$5
so-
because of the fetus and 5 for the cult. Thank you so much. Darren, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. They said, oh my God, I shot someone else a few minutes ago in Minneapolis again. Holy shit, that's absolutely fucking crazy.
Wait, what?
Apparently, ICE just shot someone in Minnesota again.
That's crazy. So, you take what I say and you take it out of context to try to make your arguments better. What I'm trying to say is there's You're so lucky I don't know the name of this guy. Why would I remember the name specifically? I have him in my following, but I'm scared if I get off the live, I'll leave the guest thing. So, if you go on TikTok and you look up like Pyramid of Egypt, conspiracy theory, he'll be the guy that comes up. But it was him that like was talking about how they do that.
Repeat what you just said one more time.
Everything I just said.
Yeah.
If you go on TikTok and you look up Pyramid of Egypt conspiracy, it's that guy. It's that guy, that account. It's
Hey
him who
everyone,
said that.
if you look up Pyramid of Egypt conspiracy videos, right, you'll find the guy that I'm looking for and I'm getting all this information from. And this is a really good source that indicates everything I'm saying is true because it's a guy that makes conspiracy videos and he couldn't possibly be lying for views. That's not possible. Evelyn,
Totally,
thank
you
you so much for the
haven't
$5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for that. They said diamond is sperm. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Nikki, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5 to piss off the fetus.
Sexually
Thank you so
suggestive.
much. Rochelle, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really am. Jeremy, thank you so much for the $5 as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. For if he doesn't want to be called a fetus, then he should at least acknowledge that the U.S. military's ridiculous spending is a bit suspicious.
It is. Oh, so she agrees with me. Why don't you like clown her for that?
To
then?
say
Oh,
the
wait,
least.
You not. She
Yeah,
agrees with me.
okay, so you'll get the suspicious part. We're saying that like it's too much. That's what we're saying. So there you go.
No, she said the word
as well as
suspicious.
Paige,
She
thank you
said
so much for the
suspicious.
$5. Thank
She
you so much. I
said
really appreciate it. Thank
suspicious.
you. They said they are reporting a pregnant woman and a child were shot. That's absolutely crazy. They said both are reported to be alive. So there could be even two different circumstances we're referencing. That's so crazy. Thank you so much for letting me know. Eric, thank you so much for the $5 for he's not a fetus, he's just sperm. Angela, thank you so much for the $5 for paying the Parker dues and for defeating fetus. Thank you. Darren, thank you. I already think I caught up to them. Bren, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. For dude claims a conspiracy theory from a TikToker, then whines about being called uneducated fetus. For real, thank you. GD, thank you so much. Really appreciate the 5 membership subscriptions. Thank you.
Hold on.
Griff, thank you
I'm
so
gonna-
much. Really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. As well as Maya, thank you so much for the $5 for everyone call him a fetus. True, he's a fetus. Lauren, thank you for the $10 for babysitting. Aubrey, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And Carson, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $3. Thank you. They said I didn't read the second half. I apologize. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. They said, I'm named from sibling. Make sure Trump doesn't start invading, as we would be next. Yeah, I totally agree. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Some W's for them. I think I did actually read what you were the message, by the way. I think I just didn't read it out loud. Thank you very much, though. I really appreciate it. Thank you. As well as Abby, thank you so much for the dollar. Lisa, thank you so much for the $20. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Give me a second. I'm figuring out who it is.
Thank
Hold
you.
on.
And thanks for all you're doing. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Alrighty. Off the shelf. Thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. I'll have to make sure to look into it. I'll have to look. I'm just getting messages about it right now. Alrighty. Can you name any reason why you support Trump? Any ideological beliefs or? Because you said earlier I have contradicting opinions, but then failed to mention any of the contradicting opinions.
I did. No, I did. You where you were talking about how government spending was on military or on wars is bad.
Yeah, and you had yet to justify that. You said essentially that you didn't care to
Hold on.
justify it. Fruit Punch, by the way, thank you for the $5 for he reacts just like Phil, but is a fetus, therefore I dub him Fetus. John, thank you for the $5 as well. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, that was crazy. They said, did you just say, chat, tell me what I'm talking about? That sounds like something a fetus would say.
I'm not a fetus.
Dude, you actually are, man.
Okay, so how am I a fetus?
No, actually respond. Tell me what the contradicting opinions are.
You said that you said that military spending was on wars was bad, but with
Yeah, Trump increased it by
But-
50%.
not listening to me. But
I
when
was
it comes
listening.
to
You're
but
just
when it
not getting
stop
it out.
interrupting me, but you can let me talk. But when it comes to Biden encouraging a war and keeping it for longer in Ukraine and supporting that, then it's a good thing.
That's defensive. We signed an agreement. That's a small portion of the military budget. I'm talking about the level of overspending with the military budget. We already had this conversation. I already told you this in the conversation. Your comprehension skills are dog shit, okay? Do you actually want to have a conversation about something productive, or do you want to keep repeating the same fucking stupid talking points?
Well, I'm gonna keep repeating them if you don't like respond appropriately. You keep
I
responding. With, like,
did.
stupid,
I respond.
keep changing the
What
subject.
do you want me to say, dude?
Give a valid argument. I don't know. This is a debate.
I did.
I don't know. I don't. What was your valid argument? What, that it was a small portion? So if I like,
Yeah, I'm
punch a grandma
referencing the
instead
level
of
of overspending, genius. I'm not saying I don't want any money spent on the military. I'm saying that we overspend on the military.
yeah, it's not like we spent like $2 on Ukraine. We spent like billions and billions and billions.
Yeah, but we're talking about a $500 billion difference in the military budget in terms of increasing it, which it was already too much, right? And we're increasing it even more.
So for some reason you just had to, or not for some reason. It's because I was bringing up a valid argument that you just didn't want to entertain. And right now I'm talking about how the conspiracy theory guy. That sounds stupid just saying it, but if you actually did some research, you realize that Biden was using the military budget for other things rather than the military.
Hey, I'm
And-
not accepting some random bullshit claim from a conspiracy theorist that you've decided to watch on TikTok. Genuinely.
No, but he's got more followers
That's
than
fucking
you, I think.
ridiculous, okay? That's not research. That's not evidence. Go get an actual source. Did you not learn how to find sources in your classes and in school?
Explain to me. I want you to explain to me how that's not a source.
How it's not a
what-
source?
What
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
you,
dude.
what's
Hey,
a
dude.
valid source?
Am I a
What's
source?
An acceptable source?
Am I a source?
You're a source, but I think your opinions are wrong. But yeah, you're technically.
Wait,
a source.
wait. So, is my position any different from the position of some random other TikToker?
Yes, if their position is different. What are you talking about?
So then, could I just dispute what this random TikToker is saying by saying I think it's wrong?
Yeah, but you'd have to give a valid argument. He actually gives arguments in
Oh,
his videos.
okay.
and
What was
reason.
the argument? Oh, I have to give a valid argument, but you don't.
No, but I'm saying in his videos he gives valid arguments.
You don't even know who you're
As-
referencing yet. You just said some
Yeah,
random
because I'm-
conspiracy theory TikToker.
It's not. He's not random. You're taking what I'm saying out of context. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you just said that all I have to do, since I just said you were a source, all you have to do is claim something and that'd be a valid source. But I'm not saying that. You have to give genuine evidence, which is what this guy does. And you're saying because I forgot his name and don't know it by memory that I'm automatically wrong for that, which doesn't make any sense.
I gave you a reason. You're not really giving me arguments. You're just like repeating the same talking points at this point. Is there anything
Okay, repeat what I-
genuinely? is there
Argue with
anything
what I
ge-
just said.
Can you? You didn't actually give me an argument.
Yes, I
There's
did.
no
I'm
new
responding
argument.
to what you said. I'm responding to what you said.
How?
You just said, because you just said that if you claim something and you don't have to give any evidence, since I just said that you were a source, then that automatically makes it true. And I'm saying that that's not right, and that you have to give a valid argument, which is what this guy does. And you're trying to discredit
we
that I'm
can't
saying that by saying
Hey,
that
dude,
I don't know his
you
name.
said you have to give a valid argument. That relies on evidence, right? So just a
Yes.
fucking claim from a TikToker is not an argument. It's not evidence.
He
You're
gave
not even
evidence.
providing the argument on the stream right now. Okay.
He gave
so
evidence.
if you're saying,
you want me to
so-
provide his argument?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I don't remember everything from the video, but it was something like they have like tunnels under the White House that they like build like experiments in or something. That's why the military budget's so high compared to every other country.
Because there's tunnels. Shut the fuck up, dude.
See, you take
There
everything
are
out
tu-
of say it. You take
There
everything I
are
say out of
tunnels
context.
for security reasons. Like, for example, on January 6th,
No,
right?
oh my god, not that.
you know, on January 6th, they used those tunnels to
Tell me more
protect
different
to protect the Congress members
Way
from the
deeper.
lunatics.
I wasn't there.
If you were old enough, you would be.
You lunatics. No, so you're saying that I would have got. You don't know my financial situation. You don't know where I live. How do you know that I could afford to go there?
Well, if you can't afford to go there, why the hell would you support Trump's policies?
So if I can't go to a riot on January 6th, that means I don't support his policies. What kind of stupid argument is that?
No, I'm just saying if
What?
you're not someone who's vastly rich, why do you support Trump's policies that disenfranchise you?
How does that? How do Trump's policies disenfranchise me?
Tariffs, they increase your taxes.
Yeah, but if you apply tariffs to another country, then that would encourage them to lower their tariffs on the U.S., which would raise your tax, or which would lower your taxes.
If your goal is to overall reduce taxes and tariffs, then again, it wouldn't be to have tariffs implemented. And two,
And
can you give me a
paying money in
single
taxes
can
is
you give me a
good.
single source to indicate that tariffs overall have declined since Trump got in office?
Wait, what? How could I give you a single source that
Can-
tariffs have declined?
Yeah, since Trump got in office.
I don't know what it was. It was like there's a lot of European countries that lowered their tariffs on us because we threatened to
Okay,
raise.
that
or we
doesn't
did
mean that
raise those.
tariffs across the board have decreased.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes you have to like make sacrifices so that it can be better in the future. Maybe we'll have like 1 year of economic hardship, but then it'll get
You
better.
have no
because the
evidence that
countries
it's
will
going to be
start-
better in the long run. We have yet to see that.
Logic. Because
Logic.
he
So
hasn't been
you-
in office
you
for that
mean
long.
you mean you just feel like it?
No, he hasn't
Yeah,
been in
and
office
you know
for
what's
that
happened
long.
under his first administration? We had the worst year of job growth in the past 4 years. We had unemployment increase. We've had upward pressure on inflation. We've had lower real median wage growth this year than the last year under Biden. Seriously, Fetus, what do you have?
Did you just say we had wage growth under Trump?
Yeah, we had lower real median wage growth in
Oh, it
Trump's first
lowered.
year of this
Okay.
administration than the end of the Biden administration last year.
That's why you see you're actually proving my point. I said that there's going to be like a year, maybe 2 years of economic hardship, and then we'd thrive because tariffs will. Maybe it takes longer for other countries to come around to
So
actually
then your
lower their
goal
tariffs.
is to have more tariffs increased, right?
What? No, my goal is that tariffs will they'll lower the tariffs on us, so we have to pay less taxes. And honestly, it wouldn't even be that bad if we had to pay more
if they're
taxes. 'Cause
lower,
taxes.
so if your goal is to lower tariffs overall, then that means that you're going to inevitably reduce tariffs, meaning that you're not going to be able to increase domestic production because of
I'm
that.
up in this bitch.
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
17. Why you invite me on a live?
Okay, well, there's seven. You literally said in the comment section you're a wannabe Dean Withers, so I was just thinking it was maybe a Trump supporter wanting to debate.
So. Sorry, what were you saying? So, I want to know how. Oh, that was another contradicting argument that you just made. You're
No, it
acting
wasn't.
like taxes are the worst thing in the world, and then earlier you were talking about how good taxes are and how we need to pay more taxes.
Yeah, for the higher income individuals, tariffs are a tax on everyone, which taxes lower income individuals.
Doesn't Trump want to make taxes imposed by tariffs proportionate to income?
No. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to have a tax bracket system that makes higher income individuals pay more. That's not what the system
No, I meant
exists.
specifically for tariffs, not in general.
I don't know what you mean. You mean he wants to replace income tax with tariffs?
No, never mind. Forget that. So this just goes back to like your arguments are only. You only make arguments. You use the same argument, yet you'll act like you believe that it's good, and you'll act like you believe that it's bad, depending on the specific debate that you're having, or what it's about.
I use the same argument and act like it's good or bad depending on the argument. But that was the most
Depending on the
vague
debate.
statement ever.
Like as I've said multiple times, this is my second example that I've given that you haven't really responded to, is you. There's a word for this. I'm not thinking of it. You are. You don't actually agree with the arguments that you make, and you only use them depending on how much it benefits you. Whether
Okay.
you could
I
say
don't
in one
agree
argument,
with the arguments that I'm providing. What makes you think that?
because every time I've been debating you for a while, which means that we've kind of gone in a little bit of a circle sometimes. And we've also talked about different stuff. And like I've said multiple times, depending on the specific topic that we're debating about, you'll agree or disagree with the same argument, depending on what makes you look better.
Can you give me an example? Because again, you're saying I don't believe in what I believe in, so you think I'm a Trump supporter or something?
I'm not saying that. Okay, so all I'm saying is, just a second ago you were talking about how bad taxes are and how Trump is making taxes higher because of tariffs, and then earlier in the beginning,
I just
You're-
explained this to you. The difference is where the taxes are placed, whether they're taxed on richer individuals or they're taxed on poorer individuals. That's what I was going to reference in that circumstance. I already explained this to you twice now. I know that you don't listen to me when I explain things to you, but come on,
I
dude.
found the I
This
found
is
my source.
ridiculous. And by the
I
way,
found
you
the
just
TikTok.
okay, man.
Do you want to
Can't
know,
wait.
or are you gonna?
Yeah, go
are you gonna
ahead.
Try to change
What
the
is
subject?
it?
Are you gonna? Are you ready? You like type it in?
Yeah.
FILSPIXEL.
Give me 1 second. I gotta click on this.
More followers than you.
I don't care. What is her name?
FILSPIXEL.
Pills Pixel.
I think. How many followers does he have?
Let me click.
2.2 million.
Yeah, Phil's Pickle.
Yeah, him. Did you say pickle?
Pickle. Yeah, I meant to say Pixel. What video?
It's been a little since I've seen the video. I don't know. I haven't found the specific video. I just found the account, but
Okay, so now we don't even know the video. Okay.
No, you're not listening.
Yeah. Now we have like all of these different fucking man makes infinite energy. 17 million views. It's just literally.
How about you
some
actually
random
watch the
conspiracy
video
account.
instead of clowning on it? Like.
Oh wait,
Oh,
this is one of his videos.
We just got this.
Oh, okay, I can't even play that. Fuck.
What was that?
It was gonna.
What was that audio?
It's him making
You're
a
not even
video.
you're what?
It's him making a video about the Bubba and Bill. Or sorry, not Bubba and Bill. Trump and Bubba.
That was a horse, not Bill Clinton.
Oh, so Trump was given head to a horse?
That's not even possible. So that proves that didn't happen because that's not possible. I don't want to be graphic, but like the horses, would be like too big. I think for getting like that to be possible.
So Trump did it, and it was okay.
No, I'm saying that he didn't do it.
Trump did
because
it to a
it's-
horse, dude. That's kind of crazy, bro.
No, you see, you're doing this again where you take what I say out of context. I said that it proves that he didn't do it because one of the people involved in sending the email said that it was a horse, which means now we know that they were talking about a horse.
They
And then you
didn't
have to
say
look
that
at
it was a
that's
horse, but
impossible to do that.
they said it was
That's
Bubba,
impossible to do.
and the Bubba
That's
could be in reference to a horse that's Ghislaine Maxwell's horse. So by the
So
way,
I'm
that doesn't prove that this didn't happen. It just proves that
Yes, 'cause it's
that
impossible.
He did that to a horse.
Watch his newest video, not pinned.
Whose video?
The guy from earlier. That's the type of video that he
Does
makes.
it
I'm not saying-
have? Is it the last video that was made? The jet fuel is a hoax.
Yes, I'm trying to give you like the type of videos and try to prove to you this guy actually gives evidence.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna watch some random video.
See, because it'd prove you wrong because you're claiming
No, because I literally want something on the fucking video, the claim that you're referencing, not just some
'Cause you
random. Dude, you're citing a random conspiracy account on TikTok. I bet the person who made this account doesn't even think that they are a source themselves.
You have made multiple arguments saying that this guy doesn't give actual evidence, so I'm proving to you that he does by trying to make you watch one of his videos.
I'm just saying this is not a source for evidence, genius. This is not you. I asked you for evidence, and you said, "Dude, I saw some conspiracy TikTok." Genuinely, that was your response. You sound fucking insane. Okay, there's no reasonable thought process that you have here. It's literally, "Dude, I saw this conspiracy TikTok. Therefore, it's gotta be the case." That's what you were justifying this whole thing based upon. You have no evidence. Your fucking whole claim here is a trust me, bro.
No, it's not.
Why are we even arguing this? This is a waste of
Because-
time. What the
because
fuck
I'm
are you
proving you
saying?
wrong.
Seriously,
I'm
why
proving
are
you
we
wrong.
talking about this right now?
Do you
What
want me
is
to
the
answer what I'm
relevancy? It's some
Want me to tell you what I'm
random
saying?
conspiracy bullshit. Give me an actual fucking source or get off the stream.
I'm trying to inform you that Biden has been lying about the military spending, and you keep trying to pivot and like. make
There's
other
no
arguments.
evidence. You literally sourced a random conspiracy bullshit.
Literally, no, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
How is he random? Explain. See, and
It is
this goes back
literally
to you
random
saying that he's random.
conspiracy
And I've
bullshit.
told
It
you
is a random
multiple
TikTok
times
from a conspiracy
he
account
gives-
on TikTok.
He gives actual evidence.
And you were like, dude, there's tunnels underneath the government
Unlike you with
buildings.
your
Therefore, they're using all of the money in the defense budget for this particular reason.
Mm-hmm.
Come on,
No,
please stop.
I'm saying that the reason why I told you to watch one of his videos was it would prove that he gave actual evidence in his videos. So, because you made the claim multiple times that he doesn't actually give. You made the claim multiple times that he doesn't give valid arguments because he's a random TikTok conspiracy theorist. So I told you to watch one of his videos to prove that he does give genuine arguments.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch on the stream, okay? Dude, at this point, you're trying to make me fucking give like literal. You want me to like literally promote someone else's content and put it on the stream, and I don't even know what we're referencing for no fucking reason. That doesn't even relate to the actual video that you're referencing, dude. Actually,
he literally gets more.
Stop.
He literally gets more followers and views than you. Why would you promote?
I
how
don't give a
would you
shit,
even be-
man.
No, I'm saying
I
how would
don't
that
care.
even be? How would that? How would that be? How would?
Dude, he
how would
actually
that
has
be
more
you-
followers and views than you. He actually
No,
has
I'm
more
saying that-
followers than views than you. Therefore,
I'm
he has got to
saying
be
that
telling the
because-
truth, actually. Did you know that this conspiracy
listening
account
to me.
has more followers
See?
and views than you?
I'm saying no. You take what I'm saying out of context. I'm saying the reason why I just brought that up is because you just said that you'd be promoting, and that's the reason why you're not. And you wouldn't be promoting. That's like saying like a YouTuber with a million subscribers can't do something because he'd be promoting somebody who had 1 billion. Like that. Likely
Dude,
most of the
that could still happen. You could still you could have a 1 million subscriber account promote Mr. Beast.
Yeah, you could.
Okay,
What's
you
your
could?
point?
Now you sound
They
stupid.
wouldn't actually gain from that. They wouldn't actually gain
Dude,
anything
you
from
are
the
the
promotion.
smartest Trump supporter.
That would be a useless promotion.
Smartest Trump supporter on the live, everyone, right here.
Okay, so you still never gave me a reason why you supported Biden.
I did.
No, yeah,
And
you
Harris
gave
was the
broad-
last
You gave me
candidate.
broad answers. You said like you gave me like really broad answers, and you didn't get into detail. 'Cause
Okay,
there is no
What detail do you want?
Okay, let's go from the beginning. Why do you support Biden over Trump? Specifically over Trump. Why do you support Biden?
Yeah, I don't know why we're going to Biden. The last candidate was Harris, but I'll reference Biden.
Why do you support Harris? Why do you support Harris over Biden? I mean, over Trump.
Yeah. Well, she was advocating for a $6,000 child tax credit for the first year of a child's life, $3,600 through them being 5 years old,
I'm
$3,000
sorry,
through
did
them
you
being
say
18.
she was advocating for a child slave?
Child tax credit increase.
Oh, okay, now I continue.
Okay. Which reduced childhood poverty by 40 to 50% when implemented in 2021 through the American Rescue Plan. She also wanted to do a $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers for new homes.
Okay,
in
hold on.
2000
Instead of you doing this, I want you to give me your main reason why, like, you support.
So you're going to cut
Her.
me off when explaining after saying that I don't have the ability to possibly explain it based upon my position.
Because I'm not going to be able to keep up with your 500 examples that you probably are reading off of ChatGPT. So I want you to give me.
You mean
your-
I
the
have basic
main-
memory and cognitive thinking
Okay, yeah,
skills?
Yeah, I doubt that. I want you
doubt
to
that?
give me your
Really?
main reason.
Do you
Like,
want me
that,
to
that makes
cover
you, like,
my eyes when I say it?
Well, when you just read something, when you had just read something, it's pretty easy to remember it. Anyway, yeah, you're still.
Apparently
you're not,
you couldn't do that.
Still, you're refusing to give me your. I never read anything. You're refusing to give me your main reason why you support Kamala
I'm not
Harris.
refusing. I just literally was
Do it.
telling you and you cut me off.
No, your main one reason, your biggest reason.
I don't just have one reason.
What? Give me one that is more significant than the others.
Donald Trump was held civilly liable of sexual abuse.
I said why you support Kamala Harris, not why you don't support
Kamala?
Trump. Yes,
Uh,
why?
A public option for healthcare.
So she's better with healthcare.
Yeah.
How so?
She's advocating for a public option. Trump just has concepts of a plan.
She was basically the president for 2 years because Biden was too mentally unwell. So why didn't she do anything? Why was everything so bad?
Because that has to pass through Congress and then they have to sign it into law. They didn't have enough people in Congress that supported the public option. But it's a good policy plan to get people to have broader access to health care in this country. Trump doesn't even have a plan.
What's her plan? You said she had one. What's her plan?
The public option.
Specifically, elaborate.
The public option.
What do you mean the public option?
Yeah. It ensures that every single person has universal access to a public option for healthcare. Right? So it's just health
They do.
insurance paid for through the context of the government.
Doesn't it say like in the Constitution or like some law or something that if you're in the United States, regardless of your like, if you're documented or not, you can get like, help, like if you go into a hospital, they'll take care of you, or whatever.
You still get a bill. So this is no copays, no deductibles, no premiums.
But if they're illegal, they don't even have to pay fees on the.
Oh, you're talking about undocumented immigrants?
Yes. Who else?
Undocumented immigrants,
suggesting-
they get emergency health care, yes.
So who are you suggesting that who doesn't have access to health care? What's the point of her even bringing that up?
We're talking
That
about
you must
health
say that somebody
insurance,
doesn't.
preventative health care, and who doesn't? People who can't afford it. Whether it be meds that they need, whether it be surgery that they need, right? U.S. citizens don't have access to it.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. Dude,
Yes, the ones
are
that don't-
you
that's why
really
insurance
fucking
exists,
denying
and
this right now?
That's why insurance
Dude,
exists.
I'm sorry. Don't do this. This is stupid as fuck, okay?
That is
This-
why. That's why.
Genuinely,
insurance
how old are you?
exists.
How old are you?
Do you know what insurance is? Do you know what insurance is?
Yes. Not everyone has insurance, you dumbass.
Yeah. Oh, then why don't they get it?
Because they can't afford it, you dipshit.
There are insurance policies that are a lot cheaper than like the most expensive ones. There are budget ones that you can do.
Yeah, and not everyone can even afford those. And by the way,
Well,
that
then
doesn't
why
cover
are they
everything you
then they
need.
made some bad life decisions and they're
Okay.
facing the
So
consequences.
it's not making bad life decisions. It's literally that health care and health insurance is so expensive in this country that we can't afford it. It costs almost twice as much in this country per individual as other countries around the world have in terms of per capita healthcare costs.
How much does it cost annually for the average American citizen for health insurance
Yeah, it's over $12,000 per individual.
per year?
I think it's even more now. Let me look
Is
up
that an average?
per
Is that
per
an average?
capita healthcare expense. Yeah, this is per person. Yeah, 12,500, and that's in
Somebody just said most
2023.
full-time. Somebody just said most full-time jobs offer health insurance. So why are they? If they're like stupid and they decide to be unemployed, then they're gonna also face the consequences of that.
Okay. You understand, listen here, and you say stupid and unemployed. This is just ridiculous to say. For people who can't afford it, we're talking about tens of millions of people. You know that, right? Okay? 10%
How?
of the population. Okay, dude. 10% of the population is over 30 million people. Okay? So if 10% of the population is uninsured, that would be
Mhm.
30 million people. In this country, I'm pretty sure it's 80 million people are uninsured or underinsured.
So why don't they get insurance? And then you're gonna say, well, because they don't have the money. Well, let's look at the reasons why they don't have the money. It's because of poor life decisions that they're facing the result of, and Donald Trump should not be. You shouldn't be mad
You're
at him
saying it's
for
because
that.
of poor life decisions? That's actually not the case in plenty of circumstances. People could have really good jobs, and they could have a restriction in terms of how much they can pay for it based upon the fact that there's something medical that happens to them, okay? It can bankrupt anyone. Someone getting cancer can bankrupt them. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. Do you think the average person should be able to take into account hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical debt? That's ridiculous. You get a grip, dude. You are just so naive on this topic. It's unbelievable.
It's literally Obamacare's fault.
No, it's not. Right? People
How?
had these issues prior to Obamacare, especially because of the fact that they could ensure that people that weren't insured if they had pre-existing health conditions. So you understand
Can
that,
you tell
like,
them to stop? See,
Hey,
it's
dude,
also
stop
it's hard
talking.
to focus because your whole chat is rude.
dude, I think you're being
So
rude.
it's hard to focus on my
I
arguments.
think you're
which I
being
think you
rude
actually-
in trying to say that people don't deserve health care. I think you're being
not-
rude
when
in
did I
saying
say
that you
that? When did
support
I
a
say that?
system.
I never said
Well, you're
that.
the
I
one
never said that.
advocating for Donald Trump that quite literally has no plan for health care, whereas the Democrats do have plans for
Mhm.
health care.
No,
do.
no. I said, you're not listening to me. I said multiple
am.
times. I said multiple times that if we go down and we look at the reasons why they don't have the money to afford insurance.
Again, you keep
when you
claiming
just-
this. That's not true for everyone. And even in those circumstances, say someone made bad life decisions, that does not mean that they deserve to die or that they deserve
I
to
didn't
go
say they
into
deserve to
massive
die, but
levels
why
of
should
medical
Donald
debt.
Trump, why should you ultimately be mad at Donald Trump for that when they were the ones who made the bad life decisions, and why are you not mad at them for that?
I'm mad at Donald Trump because of the fact that as the government's position, they should uphold a particular plan for healthcare, as other countries have done this, and it's led to better health outcomes and better conditions. Okay? You are just incredibly self-centered. You're only willing to focus specifically on the fact that, oh, there are some people that have made bad life decisions, and as a justification to then treat them badly in terms of access to healthcare. No matter the life decision someone makes, they should not die because of the lack of ability to pay for any sort of care that they need.
If somebody is, in most circumstances, if somebody's that poor that they can't afford $12,000 per year, then they
wait.
like
That's just health expenditure per capita. That's not the cost necessarily for everyone, right? For some people, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars a day.
millions of
A year.
dollars. So they can call like a random insurance company, and they're gonna say you have to pay $12,000 or an average, of millions of dollars per year.
Well,
That's
I'm
what
talking
you're
about overall healthcare costs. If you're talking about health insurance,
I was talking about insurance.
insurance doesn't take care of everything. So
Well, it
not
depends
only
if
are
you get
the
full
costs,
coverage or
but
not.
there's also the cost of the insurance. Do you even pay for your own health insurance?
I don't have health insurance.
How old are you?
18.
So do you still live at home?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up about life decisions. Are you fucking kidding me? They just
so
make
you're saying I
shitty
should've
life
moved out the day I
decisions.
turned 18?
You're 18 years old. You haven't even fucking lived life enough to know what a shitty life decision is. Okay?
I moved out.
You are
I moved out
you
for-
are in your life going to make so many shitty life decisions. The fact that you think that you aren't going to be someone who's going to make shitty life decisions as an 18-year-old shows how naive you are. Genuinely.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. You are
I
so
moved out
naive
for,
that you think you're not going to make shitty life decisions as an 18-year-old? What fucking stupid shit is coming out of your head? You're making a shitty life decision coming up on this live stream right now. You're making one of them right now. And yet we're saying you don't deserve restricted access to healthcare in this country because you made a shitty life decision deciding to come up on my live and get it fucking embarrassed by me.
No, you just. That's
It
not
was a
true.
shitty
So,
life decision. You're getting embarrassed right
I
now,
moved
buddy,
out.
on a live stream in front of 10,000 people.
Actually 7.1 thousand, but whatever.
Yeah, plus 3,400 on YouTube.
Okay, never mind. Surprised you can do that math. Anyway, I moved out for what is that, like March to December, so 7 months. I moved out for about 7 months, 9 months, sorry.
Okay, and
And because you just said that I'm like a baby, and I've like lived at home the whole time, and I've been trying to explain to you that I
I'm saying that you have so many mistakes that you're going to make in the future, so many life decisions that you're going to make that are bad, that you think that you are somehow not going to be applicable to that is ridiculous. Okay?
Yeah,
Every
'cause I
single
know I have a
person
brain and I
has
know
made
not
has
to
made
do
a
stupid
bad
stuff.
life decision at some point. Brandon,
Does
you
that
think that you're
include you?
amazing. What's up?
Does that include you?
Yes.
I'll be
I have
surprised
made
if you
I
can
have
name-
made
if
bad
you
life
can admit-
decisions. One
if
of
you can
them was
admit one
talking
bad
to
thing
you
you've
on this
done.
live stream.
Oh wow!
Because I have
You're so
lost how
funny.
many brain cells now?
You can't. You're really hypocritical.
How am I hypocritical? Are you just mad
Because you're
that
saying-
I just dissed you?
How'd you diss me?
You just heard it.
Whatever. So another thing that is
He literally forgot what happened 15 seconds ago, dude. Jesus Christ. Let me say thank you to some people. Feed us. Abigail, thank you so much for the $5. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. He said I'm a nursing student that has multiple chronic illnesses through no fault of their own, and that they what's it called? Sorry, it's not loading. And that they have insurance, but still pay thousands of dollars out of pocket for surgeries and medical bills, and that healthcare is ridiculously expensive. Absolutely, we deserve a universal plan. Paige, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Shut up,
Of
Cherry
course, thank you
Jam.
so much, Paige. Jason, thank you so much for the $1 as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Seriously, that's ridiculous. Catherine, thank you so much for the $1 as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Paige, thank you again. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much for all the information. I really appreciate it. Shannon, thank you so much for the $20. I really appreciate it. They said my marketplace premium is $308 a week. I just had open heart surgery that cost $680,000. And I'm a single mom that makes $60,000 a year.
should have had insurance.
Oh, okay. They said that's why they couldn't afford insurance. So you're going to sit there and say, oh, you just should have had insurance, right, for
You should have
literally
had
hundreds of
insurance
thousands of
before the open
dollars.
heart
Shut the
surgery.
fuck up, dude. You
should
don't
have had
have
insurance before
you
the-
don't have insurance. If you needed to open heart surgery, you'd be bankrupt, okay? You'd be bankrupt. You don't have insurance. What do you mean they
my
should have had
parents would pay
insurance?
for it.
You don't have
My parents
insurance
would pay for it.
yourself.
My
Oh,
parents
your
would pay for
parents
it.
will pay for it? Oh,
Yeah.
because you have your little social safety net of your parents going to take care of you. Under your own view, they shouldn't take care of you, and you should take care of yourself and pull yourself up by your bootstraps because you've made
I
poor
could.
life decisions because you don't have a fucking. Wait, do you have a job right now?
Yes.
Because you don't have a job that makes you millions of dollars a year, and you can't afford literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical payments, right? You didn't
How
make
do
good
you
enough
know?
life decisions that they shouldn't
do you
even
know?
pay for it. They don't.
do you know?
You don't deserve their help. They have no obligation to take care of you.
I think they're making claims based
You should
on
just
assumptions.
you should just get another job.
Is
You should just get another
Pretty-
job. They're not going to take care of you. Get another job, buddy.
if I had open heart surgery, I could probably pay for it out of pocket.
You could pay for open heart surgery out of pocket.
Easily, not easily, but it'd be hard, but I could.
What, with inheritance?
What?
You cannot
No.
afford $680,000 out of pocket. Shut the fuck
Oh.
up, dude.
So
What?
you like looking in my bank account? Do you know how much is in my bank?
Dude, I guarantee you as an 18-year-old cannot do that unless you inherited money from your parents. Okay? That is
Like,
absurd.
but you mean like if they died?
I
they're both
could
alive?
not afford a $680,000 payment. That's absurd.
I doubt that.
What do you mean I doubt that?
Because you like you manipulate people to send you money all the time.
I
you
manipulate-
probably have that.
I don't even have that much.
Sure. So, I could afford that, and most people should be able to. And if they can't,
What are
then
you
that's
talking
their
about?
fault.
What do you mean you
Most
could
people should be
afford
able to
that? Shut the fuck up. No, you couldn't.
Most people should be able to afford open heart surgery.
Most people should be able to afford a random $680,000 expense. Shut the fuck up, dude.
If-
You're such an embarrassing shitter, dude. James, thank you for the $3. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Good of W's for James
Why
in
are
the
you
comment
taking what
section
I'm
right
saying out
now.
of context?
Sky,
I'm
thank
in
you
the
so much for the
situation
$2.
of, like-
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Sky. And thank you so much. I really appreciate the $15. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And can we get some W's for Ann in the comment section right now? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's so ridiculous that he says that. Abby, thank you for the $5. Sky, thank you for the $2. Thank you so much. Joel, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Ken with the $10. Thank you so much. Ing, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $15. Thank you, Paige. Again, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. Jason, thank you for the $1. Catherine, thank you for the $1. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bethany, thank you for the
Proving my
5.
point.
Michael, thank you for the $10. Tom, thank you for the $2. Thank you so much. Paige, thank you for the $5. Shannon, thank you for the 10.
Thank you for
Tina,
the
thank you so
rose.
much. I really appreciate the $10. John, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Let me say thank you to some people on PayPal as well, and then also have some people to say thank you on YouTube as well. Ken, thank you for the $5. Or $2. Daniela, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. Kieran, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $2. Kelly, thank you for
Thank
the
you for the
$25. Of course, thank you so much. Elisa, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Jeremy, thank you for the $5. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. As well as Christina, thank you for the $2. By the way, Jeremy, I don't, by the way. Marlia, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $3. Cassie, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. Andy, thank you for the $15. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Kristen, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much for... I've been manipulated to send you money. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm glad that I could manipulate you to send me money. Thank you so much. Give some W's
Yeah, I'm
for
sure
them in
you
the
are
comment
glad.
section right now. As well as Maya, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Ali, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $20 for your manipulation tactics worked on me. Thank you very much. Maya, thank you for the $5 for... Oh, no, I just can't help it. Parker must be controlling me to give him money for being so awesome. This caller is actually deranged. Thank you so much. Jazz, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Nicholas, thank you so
I'll
much for the
explain
$20. I really appreciate it, Nicholas. Thank you. Give some W's for them in the comment section. Lucas, thank you for the $1 for this guest sucks. And Anna, thank you so much for the $1. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. James, thank you for the $10 as well. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And yeah, Anna, that is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Stop saying
Unbelievable they
it's
think you have
potty
to do
time.
that. Shannon, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. Benjamin, thank you so much for the $1 as well. Thank you so much. Villa, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Dee Dee, thank you so much for the $10 for... Oops, you're manipulating me again. Here we go. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Heather, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Anka, thank you so much for the $5. Marianne, thank you for the $5 as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Unbelievable, right? Patty, thank you so
Yeah,
much for
your
the $10.
supporters just
WB,
said
thank you
free
so much for the
FC in the
$10 as well.
comments.
Mr.
Your
Demon Sushi with
supporters
the
said
$10.
free
Thank
FC.
you.
You support
Maya,
that?
thank you for the $5. Thank you
Free
so much. I
FC.
really appreciate it. Thank you. OG K-pop Stan, thank you for the $10. Thank you. Bunny, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Laugh and Leslie, thank you for the $5. On the Beard, thank you for the $5. Bunny said, my mom is a full-time SOP and her job's health insurance literally tripled. She can't afford to work for them because they take so much out of her paycheck. Such a silly goose. I know, right? Pillian, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. They said, I'll take one open heart surgery and a large Coke, please. Alyssa, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Get some W's for them in
Thank
the
you for the
comment section.
rose.
Of course. Thank you so much. Paige, thank you for the $4.20. They said, can you ask them the difference between FSA and HRA?
I don't know what that means.
You don't know? Benjamin, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10 for the Colt dues. And they said, what's the difference between a CD, HP, or PPO plan?
What the hell does that mean?
Linall, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. Do some W's for Linall in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely crazy. That is a hardship for anyone. Muriel, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $75 on Venmo. Thank you so much for the $75. Thank you so much, Muriel, with the $75. Thank you so much. Don't ever stop embarrassing MAGA with facts. Thank you so much. I'm the problem. Thank you so much for the $20. For I feel so manipulated. Thank you so much. Aaron, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. Ashley, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know, it's absolutely crazy.
Are you done with your tangents of the people who you manipulated?
Can you say thank you to Muriel for being manipulated for the $75?
Yeah, thank you for donating to this idiot.
Hannah, thank you so much for the $10 for totally manipulating me. Thank you so much.
Okay, so
Megan, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It's not just the cost of surgery. It's the recovery time without work or permanent disability. It's continued care and time off. Every appointment care. Dizzy, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. This guy's still on his parents' insurance and doesn't realize it. Also, pre-existing conditions was a huge reason for the Obamacare. People could not get insurance when they got sick. Totally true. And had pre-existing health conditions. Rebecca, thank you so much for the $20. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Are you scared?
Oh, they said it. Soleil, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $20. Thank you. Benjamin, thank you for the $2. Thank you for can't stop the mind control. Michael, thank you for the $10 for stop manipulating me.
Scared to debate me. Hey, you want to know how I can prove that I'm winning this debate?
How, buddy? Alan, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Do you want me to answer your question?
Mario, thank you for the $25. Thank you so much for, oh man, you manipulated me to send more. Of course. Thank you so much. Rabbit, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. They said at 26, I was in an accident, reconstructive heart, a lung surgery, removal of a spleen, a list and other injuries, $1.2 million in hospital and helicopter bills. Tell him Republican designed the ACA and sabotage. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Jory, thank you so much for the $10 as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. $1.2 million? Are you being serious?
No, okay, maybe that's a little much.
Okay, seriously. You don't think 600,000 was too much? Dude, you're ridiculous. You could not afford that. Do you think you could afford $600,000?
I had a few grandparents who died.
Okay, so if you have so much money, send me 10 grand right now.
Why would I do that?
Because you just said you could randomly afford a $600,000 payment, so send me 10 grand.
That's if I needed to. Why the hell
Just do it
would
to
I
prove
send
it.
you 10 grand?
Just do it to prove it.
You just want 10 grand.
Of course I do, but just do it to prove it.
Okay, so you want to know how I could prove that I'm actually winning this
ATL, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much for the YouTube Super Chat. I did report on that earlier. It's absolutely crazy. Scott, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Scott.
I'm not an insufferable fetus.
Kat, thank you so much for the $5 as well. Thank you so much. And Bruno, thank you for the $1. This guy is a total insufferable fetus.
God!
Was that like your best? Was that like your best bet? Like you literally just like screamed into the mic?
I can prove to you that I'm winning this debate. But every time I try to, you get scared that I'm going to prove that, and you start reading donations.
I'm not scared at all. Buddy.
Can I prove it to you? Can I prove it?
Go
prove
for
it,
it, buddy.
You can make a poll in the live.
Stella,
right?
thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much. Ellen, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $16. Thank you so much, Ellen. I really appreciate the $16. Thank you so much. It was Benjamin. Thank you for the $2 for more deprogramming. Samantha, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. They said I'm a double cancer survivor and I would be dead if it wasn't for... Wait, hold up. Let me make sure I can read it. Oh my gosh, it just literally went away. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I did miss the donation. It literally went out of it. Okay. They said, as a double cancer survivor, I'd be dead or bankrupt if it wasn't for the NHS. Because of that and other health conditions, I have and I would not be able to get insurance. Universal health care for all. Fuck ICE.
See, that's sorry.
Absolutely.
It's bad
thank you so
that
much.
happened to her, but that's, again,
thank you.
Goes back to bad life decisions.
As well as Benjamin, thank you so much for the $1. And Inga, thank you so much for the push of the $5. Thank you. To cut them off one more time. I got you. Brent, thank you so much for the $2. Alana, thank you so much for the $2 as well. Thank you. Good to see you as always.
You're proving my point.
Chalupa Batman, thank you for $10. Thank you. And Bailey, thank you for the $50 for oh no, how'd you manipulate me into doing this? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I had to have been doing it just so that I didn't have to talk to the insufferable fetus.
You're scared. You're scared. You're scared. Every time I try to bring up how I could prove that I'm winning the debate, you just start reading donations because you're genuinely scared
Okay,
that
go
you're
ahead.
gonna get proved wrong.
Go ahead. David, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Of course.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
prove it now?
Go ahead.
You're just gonna cut me off again.
Go ahead.
You're looking at your phone or whatever, so you can immediately cut me off.
Dude, just go ahead.
All right, you're gonna cut me off, but if you go,
Diane, thank you so much for the $100 on Venmo. Can we get some W's for Diane in the comment section right now? For the $100 on Venmo, thank you so much, Diane. Johnny, thank you for the Galaxy, by the way. They said thank you for this incredible takedown, Parker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Absolutely, totally agree with you. Thank you so much, Diane. Can we get some W's for Diane in the comment section right now? No, go ahead. Go for it.
can I prove it to you now, or are you ready, or are you still scared and you're gonna read more donations?
I'm not gonna be scared. Don't worry. I'm not scared at all. Go ahead.
So I can finally read it.
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
Or not read it. Tell you what I was saying. Okay, you're gonna read more donations, but I know if you read more donations, you're proving my point that you're genuinely scared to be proved wrong. If go and make a poll and ask the viewers who's winning the debate, and they're all gonna say me. Not a majority is gonna say me. At least 51% are gonna say me, and you have
You want
issues.
to bet?
You know,
Wait, you want to bet?
yeah.
Okay, how much?
Oh, you mean like literal money?
Yeah. You said that you're so rich. Let's bet. You're so confident. Bet.
That's against my
$1,000
religion to bet.
bucks. $1,000 bucks.
Against my religion to bet money.
No, it's not.
Oh, so you know my religion?
Yeah.
What's my religion?
What religion? Yeah, I was gonna ask you what religion do you believe in?
It's you're not gonna be familiar with it. I made it up. And you're so disrespectful. You laugh at everybody's. You
Hey
shouldn't laugh
dude,
at
hey
somebody's
dude, are you a believer of Christianity?
religion. No.
Ah, dude, you should. It's the best. Jesus, our Lord and Savior, He elevates over water for you.
I partly believe it. It's complicated. So
No, actually, come on. Like, can you seriously bet me on this? Can you actually like you think that you're gonna get more than 50% to support you and think you're winning? Do you want to bet?
it's against my religion to bet. I'm not joking.
No, it's not.
You don't know my religion.
I do.
I didn't even tell you.
You just said you made it up, so. Elena,
I-
thank you
I
so much.
made
Really
it up
appreciate the
as in, like-
$20. Thank you so much. Put some W's for Elena in the comment section. Catherine, thank you so much for the $5 for another bad. Cheers to another bad life decision. I know, right? Bethany, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you so much, Candace. Thank you for the $2. Really appreciate. Thank you. Bethany said my veteran grandfather had to declare bankruptcy because of medical bills after a heart attack and working for 50 years. They
no,
said,
not devil worship. So
but yeah, seriously, listen to this for a second. They said he was 74 and it forced his retirement. Yeah, the entitlement is absolutely insane. Joan, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you, Candace. Thank you so much for the $2. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Carolyn, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $1. Thank you so much. They said I'm 23 and I had a stroke this summer, and the bill was a little over
Melody, I'm not a
for a little over
fetus.
2 weeks was $1.5 million. I'm lucky to be on my parents' health insurance. I'm assuming that's what it says. Health insurance on my parents' good insurance, but I can't imagine how other people could deal with that. Totally.
I'll
Thank
bet
you so much,
$1,000.
Caroline.
I don't want to go.
Thank
more
you
than
so
that.
much. You want to bet $1,000?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll get 51%.
Okay, $1,000. I will get more. So the bet is that you think that you will get more than 50% of the chat to think that you are winning the debate, and I think that I'll
Yes.
get more than 50% of the chat thinking I'm winning the debate. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. I bet you $1,000 on that. Do you accept that? Do you accept that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, mods, make the poll on TikTok. Make the poll on TikTok.
You better get humbled.
I'm about to literally get $1,000. I can't wait, chat. I can't wait. If you want to help me get $1,000 on TikTok, everyone, when the poll drops, all you have to do is vote that I'm winning the debate. That's it. That's all you have to do. All you have to do. Mods, please make it. Make the poll. The poll's going to be open up here in a second, everyone. Mods are making it.
They're
Tom,
not
by the way,
making
thank you
because
so much
they're
for the $5 for manipulating kid is a troll. I'll have to check.
They're
I'll have to
scared.
check. Jessica, thank you so much for the $8. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Benjamin, thank you so much for the $1. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Give some W's for them. Amanda, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. Can we get some W's for Amanda in the comment section right now? Thank you. Thank you. Did we open up the poll, everyone?
Are
I
you
don't think
ready
it's
to be
quite open
humbled?
yet. Get ready, everyone. Get ready for the poll.
You're ready
You
for him
actually,
to get
do you
humbled.
actually think I'm going to get humbled?
Get ready for him to get humbled.
This is the easiest $1,000 I've ever made in my life.
I actually
seriously.
pay attention to my chat, unlike you.
Wait,
Or
the
not to
poll's
my-
the
to-
poll's not open yet. Maybe I need to open it myself.
I pay attention to chat.
Do I?
Like you
Wait, there we go.
always do.
The motto's Matt opened up the poll. W Matt. Oh my God! Everyone, it's open. It's open. Vote in the poll. Vote in the poll. Vote for Parker.
There's still people voting.
No way, dude. You actually thought you had a chance, bro. He thought he had a chance. Everyone, if you're in the TikTok stream, if you want to help me win, vote for me. We have 1,700 votes on TikTok. Let's keep it going, everyone. He's got about 113. We have 1,800.
Wait,
So
where
we're
does it
about to
tell you
get
how
a
many-
quick $1,000.
Did you do that math?
No, I'm looking at the poll right now.
Yeah, I know,
Sylvia,
you're
thank you
probably
so much. Really
incapable.
appreciate the $10. Thank you.
There's still a minute left. I could still win.
I'll have to ask that. Thank you so much. Jane, thank you as well. Thank you for the $1. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Amanda, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. I know, it's absolutely crazy. Thank you so much, Savvy. Russell, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. As well as Christopher, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's great. That's great. W raising money for Eli. Natasia, thank you so much for the $25. Thank you so much. Can you say hi to my son Sawyer? Absolutely.
Wait, I have a
What's up,
question.
Sawyer? Wait, hold on.
There's
Hold
only 30 seconds left.
on.
I have a
Hold on.
question.
Hold on. Pause 1 second. Pause. I'm saying
No,
hi to
this can't wait. This can't wait.
No,
There's only
no,
30
it
seconds.
can't. No, it can't. Happy birthday, Sawyer. I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy, I think they said, just have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic day, Sawyer. W's for Sawyer in the comment section. We love you. They said best 10-year-old. Happy is, I think it's 10-year-old, 10 years old now? Or is it that they're turning 11?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, alrighty.
talking
So what
about
was your
me?
point? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's too late now because there's only 4 seconds left.
You lost.
No, there's still 2 seconds left.
You literally lost. I got
You
3,000
cheated.
votes. Matt, what did you want to say real quick?
Oh, no, I was going to tell people that it was up in the top because we had a bunch of people asking where it was, so I wanted to make sure that people knew where it was. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Thank you, man.
You got it. Yep. You're welcome.
Annabelle, thank you so
Thank
much
you
for the
for the
Christian Mystery
gifts.
Firework. Well, I got 3,000 votes. You got 165, so you owe me $1,000.
Can I tell you why you cheated?
How?
Because you were, when it comes to like bets, like in general, it's a general standard that you're not allowed to influence.
How?
You kept telling your dad to vote for me, to vote for you. I would have won otherwise.
Oh, okay. So you want me to do it again without telling my chat anything?
Well, you already did, so it doesn't count.
No, that's just bullshit. You're just trying to get out of paying me $1,000. You're such
That's
an
not-
L, man. He obviously got cooked. He owes me $1,000. Nicholas, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Guess is getting ratioed. I know, right? He literally
No,
lost
I'm
the bet,
not.
and now he's not gonna pay. Via, thank you so much for the Galaxy. Thank you. Unbelievable. The
All right,
guest
how
is
do I
not
pay?
gonna pay
Okay. How do I
after
pay? How
making
do I
the
pay?
bet. How do you pay? Venmo,
Uh,
PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube.
Can I just send you like 7 universes or something?
I guess you can send the universes if you want, but I would
How many
prefer if
is
you.
1,000?
I would prefer if
How
you
many?
just. I would prefer if you just sent it over Venmo or PayPal. I get the whole thing
Stop
then.
complaining, okay? How many is 1,000? How much money do you get from one universe?
I think you get like $300.
I'll send like 4 then.
Okay, send 4 universes. We're waiting.
Hold on, I have to recharge. My coins. Hold on.
Alrighty, give him a
Alright.
second, everyone. Apparently, he's gonna send 4 universes.
I sent them.
No, you didn't. We would see them on the screen.
I think it's glitching. How's that my fault?
No, you obviously didn't send them. It takes longer to recharge, by the way. You think you just put on that much money in like 2 seconds? No, bro. Come on.
It wasn't 2 seconds. Oh,
You're
never mind. It's
clearly
just
not.
insufficient
You're
funds.
clearly not sending it, bro. You're obviously you took the L, and you don't have that money. You said that it was easy to pay for open heart surgery, but then you obviously don't have the money to pay up your bet. Brittany, thank you so much for
So-
the Galaxy.
You continuously bring up the same arguments. You don't even know how to debate.
Dude, you got dunked on. You lost the bet.
I lost the bet because you influenced your viewers.
No, I would have won either way.
Yes.
Yes, I would have won either way.
You have no way to prove that. Thank you for the rose. I still got like
So you're not gonna pay up? I thought you were religious, man.
I am. What's your point?
So it's not against your religion to lie to me?
I didn't lie to you. How did I lie to you?
Can you say Jesus Christ is not your Lord and Savior?
Why do you want me to say that?
Because I have a feeling right now that you do believe that he's your Lord and Savior, and you're just lying.
Wouldn't it already be against like Christian belief to say that I made my own religion?
It would be, but I feel like you still are Christian.
What are you going to say?
Nothing. I'm
What
about
do
to
you-
kick you. Courtney, thank you so
What
much
do you
for
want me to
$5.
say?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Absolutely crazy. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Courtney. Thank you. Kieran, thank you so much
Okay,
for the
I
dollar.
wanna,
Thank you so much for Parker winning the poll.
So
Yeah,
can
it's
you-
a
can you
landslide that
explain-
Donald Trump thinks he won. Yeah, I know, right? Jane, thank you for the dollar as well. And Sylvia had
Let
me
me
ask
ask you a
you,
question.
can you ask, does cancer correlate to bad life decisions?
Yeah, pretty much can because processed foods.
Oh, okay. So you don't eat any processed food?
No.
Okay. Can you tell me what you've eaten today?
When I woke up, I ate like eggs,
Okay.
and then I had salad
Okay.
with steak in it.
Is that it?
So far, yeah, it was. They were both big meals though.
No oil, no butter.
No, That's also part of my religion that I have that against. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that the 2020 election was rigged?
No,
Why?
because there's no evidence indicating that.
Okay, then yes, there is. Why were there like 20 million more voters than normal?
Because people were voting mail-in, it was COVID, so people were at home for a greater period of time. That's like asking why there would be more people on social media during COVID.
Actually, no, it's not, because children generally tend to be more on social media, and children cannot vote. And
What are you talking about? I was giving
children
an
were more
example.
chronically online. The demographic of people who
You
were
are
more
chronically online. Shut up. Tanya, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much. Yeah, no one should have to deal with that. Thank you so much, Tanya. Jasmine, thank you so much for the dollar as well. Thank you so much. Crazy that they even believe that. Natasha, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5.
It's rigged.
Thank you
I
so
can
much,
explain how it's rigged.
Thank you so much, Natasha. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Happy birthday to Sawyer. Happy 11th birthday, by the way. Oh, April 13th in Aries? Oh, that's amazing. W's. Courtney as well. Thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Kieran, thank you for the dollar. Jane, thank you for the dollar as well. I think I'm fully caught up there. Let me make sure to catch up on YouTube real quick. Najia, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it for my non-taxable donation to the Church of Pisus. Thank you very much. Linala, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. And Andy, thank you so much for the $31 just to annoy the insufferable fetus. Thank you so much. This in March last year, I was admitted to the hospital and stayed almost 4 months, and I paid a staggering $0. Insanity, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, wait, they're not in the US. That's why they said that.
Oh.
Genius. We could have
I'm gonna
that.
prove to you how.
By the way,
I
this
can
whole
prove that the 2020
conversation,
election-
this whole conversation started from me acknowledging that Trump has no healthcare plan and Kamala Harris does have a policy for healthcare, and you just don't give a shit. You don't care
I
about
can
what's best
prove-
for the average American. You don't care, right, about the conditions for the average American. You specifically
I
just
have-
want to benefit
I have
wealthy
3
and
kids.
rich and
Why would I not
well-connected
care?
individuals.
I have 3 kids. Why would I not care?
As an 18-year-old, you have 3
usually get
kids as an
backlash.
18-year-old.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of bad. I don't know.
You do not have 3 children. You're lying. Why are you trolling,
Why
Diamonds?
would I benefit from lying about that?
It's a troll. It's an obvious troll.
I'm not trolling.
Okay, well,
You're
bye-bye.
just mad because I bring up valid.
Shut up. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria. List on the TikTok screen. Little does he know, I have 10 children. Little does he know, I have 10 children. Eric, thank you so much for the $5. Tell the embryo to call Georgia and ask for the 11,000 votes. Yo, Jesus. Yeah, he needs that for the poll. He needs the 11,000 votes. Push the hand art. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yo, what's up? How old are you? If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It helps get it out to more people. Let's get the next person up here real quick. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Please, everyone, only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Okay. Natasha, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $7. Thank you so much. Base 7 months. Base 7 months. That's amazing. Julianne, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you. Oh, I don't know. They might have left. They might have left. They never came back. Honey, thank you so much. I really appreciate the hand hearts. Yo, what's up? How old are you? By the way, everyone, I just reopened my Snapchat. If you want to go follow me on Snapchat, I was like doing a bunch of behind the scenes like stuff on Snapchat. I made like a reaction video to something earlier if people want to check it out. Go check out my Snapchat. Parker, get a job if you want to check it out. I also will be posting like, you know, regular social media stuff there as well. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yo, what's up? How old are you? Alrighty, let's go on the next individual. Coral, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $20. Thank you so much, Coral. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Seriously, though. We need them, too. Let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? By the way, everyone, I also posted like a story on what's it called? On Snapchat where you can like let me know what you want me to post there, because I was kind of just gonna like post whatever, and it's kind of just gonna be like a spam little fun behind the scenes sort of thing. So you can let me know as well by like messaging me and story replying to it. I was gonna look at some of the things that people said in terms of what to do. Valerie, thank you for the corgi as well. Thank you. Cyrilia, thank you so much. I really appreciate the Night Star. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm like 19. What?
Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
I'm going to take that as a no. Let's go on the next individual. Tiffany, thank you so much for the corgi. Thank you. Let's go on the next individual. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen to help get out to more people. Spooky, thank you for the membership subscription. Thank you, thank you. I think it was, what, like 50 overall. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Oh my god, sorry, I was tapping. So
Oh, you're good. Don't worry. Keep tapping that screen. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. Let's try to get to 1 million likes. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everyone. We got about 2 hours left on the live. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hi, I'm 19.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yes.
And if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
If I went back in time, I wouldn't be allowed to vote. But yeah, I would vote for Trump.
Okay, why do you support Donald Trump?
Okay, first of all, as someone with actual legal immigrant parents, the illegal immigration in this country is something that only supports trafficking. It supports child trafficking, sex trafficking. It supports all sorts of horrible things that happen to people. I believe it's worse for people to accept illegal immigrants just based off the fact that if you accept illegal immigrants to this country, it lowers how much people can pay, like wages, because if you accept an illegal worker, they're willing to accept far less pay than a legal worker, and then you're inclined to pay everyone less. And that negatively impacts the economy. And the more of them you let in, the worse it degrades your economy and your country. It's not about kindness to people or anything, because literally if you're kind to people, you wouldn't want that to happen to anyone. You won't want people to get paid less. You don't want to support child trafficking. You don't want to support sex trafficking or organ trafficking or drug trafficking. That's what it supports. And my parents actually worked very hard to get into this country. My dad waited. He won the green card lottery. He brought my mom over. Everything was legal. We didn't get any of the help these illegals get into this country. And the less, they don't bring in anything economically into this country the way my parents do. They are a net loss. And that hurts the country's economy. And that's why our economy was so terrible. And the more you let in, the worse it degrades.
Okay, there's a few things here. I think that you could actually address these conditions that you're saying are a problem by providing a legal pathway to citizenship where they don't have to leave the country. I feel like that would actually address exactly what you're saying. You're saying because they're currently in the country undocumented, it promotes trafficking to a greater extent. You're saying because they're in the country undocumented, it lowers wages. Well, we could address both of those things by making the quick legal process for immigration so that we incentivize people to go through the legal process and providing a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants that have not committed a violent crime or bad crime, because that would ensure that they would be accepting market wages. And secondly, in terms of this, they would also be paying into the system to a greater extent in terms of tax revenue, because then they would be legalized, alongside the fact that they would be able to that they would have an incentive to do so. So because they would identify themselves to authorities. So they would just be treated the same way as a legal immigrant would. So again, essentially my point here is that like mass deportation is worse for how much we have to pay. We have to pay more out in terms of ICE militarization and in terms of the deportation costs, in terms of the flights for people who are in those situations. Plus, again, we aren't really going to gain the benefits in the long run of people paying more into the tax system because there's more people in our system.
Well, yeah, we do pay most of our tax to Israel. I don't want to pay them either, but like the problem is
We don't pay most of them to Israel, but we do pay a lot, and some of that goes to Israel.
You can say that if you want. Basically, also
I mean,
another
just
problem.
look at the foreign aid. I mean, it's a small portion of our overall budget.
Okay, well, that's what you think. I'm not gonna fight that. Also, for the illegal immigrant problem, even if they are undocumented and they're not violent, the problem is even if they became legalized, they would cause the issue of hold on, I'm like thinking about it. They would cause the issues of, like, for example, they still would probably be in the aid programs because they're still low earners, even if they would. Well, if they're coming into the country, they probably don't have that much skilled labor to offer. So they'd still be working for low pay. And even if that pay is like the legal minimum wage for like everyone would get, the problem is they still don't earn that much to contribute back what they took when they were undocumented and still receiving aid.
They do.
And
They pay a lot into the system, and that increases tax revenue and pays more into the system than they would have ever gotten in sort of any benefits. Also, undocumented immigrants don't receive federal benefits.
talk to the Somalians and the Minnesotans.
Most of them are born in the U.S. and they're legally in the country.
But the legal ones are, it's literally been proven that a lot of what they stole from the Minnesotans, that went back to Somalia, to trafficking and to terrorist organizations.
Okay, so those are a few people who are
that's where it
Somali
came
that committed those actions. That's not representative of everyone who's Somali.
That being said, I still don't want that in my country, so I'm very much in support. I'd rather pay to have them deported.
You don't want people who are Somali in our country, or you don't want people committing fraud in your country?
Fraud, but a lot of them happen to be Somalian. That's
So
their
how do you feel
specialty.
about Donald Trump pardoning George Santos?
I'm not too happy about it. Again, I support him largely, but I don't think he's conservative enough. Fiscally, he is, but I truly believe he could be doing more for this country. That being said, Kamala would just let them pour in, so.
Kamala. No, she actually wanted to still keep it criminalized for people to engage in undocumented entry. She just wanted to make the legal process go quicker, which would incentivize better conditions for legal immigration and more people going through the legal process rather than coming through the country undocumented.
That being said, I wanted to ask you a question real quick.
Go ahead.
Have you ever dealt with the fact that illegal immigrants get helped more in this country than legal immigrants who do actual like stuff for the country? For example, my dad is a skilled worker. He brings a lot of work and he pays a ton in taxes. But an undocumented worker gets, like, for example, hotel rooms in Chicago where we're from. So where my dad pays a bunch of money to the state of Chicago to not even fix our roads. The people coming into Chicago illegally are getting luxury hotel rooms when back when we were really poor, no one did that for us and we were legal.
So those are specifically for asylum seekers. Those are legal immigrants. Okay, and those are for certain states. So that would be state policy, right? Not federal policy.
They also happen to be largely criminals.
And did
My
you say
dad has a
Chicago is a
different
state
kind of-
as well?
No, that's a city. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that a lot of the asylum seekers are criminals. They're violent. And my dad
Undocumented
has
immigrants
a
are less
few
likely to
policies.
commit a violent crime, drug crime, and property crime by multiple times lower rates than natural-born U.S. citizens.
Are you sure? Have you looked at their skin color?
You're trolling. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everyone. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Let's get the next person up here.
Hello.
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 19, 2006, June 11th.
Okay, and if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
I'd rather vote for Trump. Real quick though, the thing that I'm going to focus on while debating you would be abortion. Would you be able to take me up on an abortion debate, Parker?
For sure.
Okay, 1 second. Let me record this so that way if I do make any mess ups, I can go back and fix it.
Okay.
Okay. So, would you like me to start with the 3 premises to my argument and then my final conclusion?
Sure. Push the money gun.
Okay, so premise 1, human beings possess intrinsic moral value by virtue of what they are, not by their current abilities or stage of development. Although humans as a species are uniquely intelligent and creative, it would be morally incoherent to claim that a less developed human, such as an embryo or fetus, is therefore less valuable than a mature adult. Accepting such a principle would imply that infants, the cognitively disabled or temporarily unconscious individuals possess diminished moral worth, which contradicts the widely held belief that all humans are morally equal. Premise 2, from conception, the fetus is a biologically distinct human organism with its own DNA, internal development trajectory, and integrated bodily functions. It is not a bodily organ or extension of the mother, but an individual member of the human species who depends on the mother for survival, just as newborns and other dependent humans depend on caregivers. Dependency does not negate individuality or humanity, and therefore the fetus qualifies as a human being deserving of moral consideration. Premise 3, bodily autonomy is an important moral principle, but it is not absolute. Society routinely recognizes limits on bodily autonomy when its exercise would unjustly harm others in pregnancy. There are 2 distinct human beings with bodily integrity interests, the mother and the fetus. While neither has ownership over the other's body, neither has the moral authority to intentionally end the other's life. Therefore, the fetus's presence does not grant a control over the mother's body, but the mother's bodily autonomy, likewise, does not extend to the deliberate killing of the fetus. My final conclusion is, if all human beings possess equal intrinsic moral worth, regardless of their size, age, development, or dependency, premise 1, and if the fetus is a distinct living human organism rather than a mere part of the mother's body, premise 2, and if bodily autonomy, though morally significant, does not justify the intentional killing of another human being, premise 3, then it follows that intentionally ending the life of a fetus is morally impermissible. Therefore, abortion constitutes the unjust killing of a human being and is morally wrong.
Okay. A few things here. I don't accept that it's a human being. I don't think that personhood happens until sentience, which is around 20 through 24 weeks in the womb based upon subjective experience or the prefrontal cortex and thymicrocortical connections integrating the mind and body. I can also point to the fact that even though you can say that there's a biological distinction, that doesn't change whether or not there's personhood in that sort of basis. Alongside, it's not just them being human, it's going to be human plus sentience, because you don't think it's murder to pull the plug on an individual in your family that is brain dead. Even though they still have cellular human life, they are biologically distinct, meaning that under your view, you would have to consider that they are people and that it's murder to pull the plug on individuals in your family that are brain dead, or you'd have to concede that your argument doesn't make any sense, and you'd have to use some sort of other criteria.
Yeah, so just real quick, so would you give me the definition of personhood, please? Or are you going to give it like the philosophical definition?
So, like, are you asking me for the definition of personhood, or are you asking me for the qualifications that I believe then establish them to be of personhood?
Yeah, the definition of personhood, and then we can go through the qualifications.
Okay, so I guess typically how I'm denoting personhood is going to be sort of like an individual with rights that is human.
Yeah, so the fetus, so perfect. Yeah, thank you very much. So it's been biologically proven that first off, the fetus is an individual. Remember, I can give you my source if you'd like. I'd have to find it real quick. I have it on one of my tabs here. Give me just a second. But I'll find that source for you while I'm explaining the rest, right? So the fetus has been proven to be biologically distinct from the mother's body, right? So it's not her own body, okay? And the fetus is considered a human, right? So then it would be considered as a person itself and hold to the value of personhood. Now, another question or something to point out real quick.
Let me clarify.
Go ahead.
I don't think that it's a rights-bearing individual until sentience. So it wouldn't be considered a person until sentience, under my view.
Okay, so if a baby who's born with anencephaly, excuse me if I pronounce that wrong, does not deserve any rights?
So I think that if you're saying, are you saying born without sentience?
Yes.
Is
And
it
then
ever
I
going to
can,
develop sentience?
no, I believe they die shortly after birth, actually.
So then they never
But
develop sentience?
yeah. So here we go. I actually have the
And if they
definition
die
for you.
alone, so I don't think that, like, so here's my perspective when it comes to, fetuses, especially that have bodies, human-like bodies, after or that aren't sentient. Or I think that you have the bodily autonomy that you could. The only connotation that it would be justified to unalive them would be in terms of maintaining your bodily autonomy, right? So
Yes.
you have to necessarily give your internal bodily resources to them. Outside of that, I don't see any reason why you would need to unalive them, like purposefully.
Right, but even though bodily autonomy is an absolute, so it can't.
Yeah,
It
and
can't
I never
rule
said
over
it
the
was
fetus's
absolute. I
body.
just said that bodily
Yeah.
autonomy is taken into account in this context as something that applies. Unless there's
Yeah,
good
but
reason to indicate otherwise,
Mhm.
but there's not good reason to indicate otherwise in this particular circumstance, so bodily autonomy maintains.
Yeah, would you elaborate a little more on what you mean by that? I am so sorry.
Yeah, bodily autonomy is as like sort of a general thought process for it. It's
Yeah.
going to uphold unless you have good reason to say that it shouldn't uphold. Okay? In this circumstance, we do not
Okay.
have good reason to say that it shouldn't uphold, therefore it's still going to stay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so there is a good reason that it would uphold, right? Because you are ending a human life even if it doesn't have sentience or consciousness, right? So this goes back to my earlier argument. I'm sorry if I'm making a circular argument, but it goes back to what I said earlier about the severe neural tube defect, also known as anencephaly, right? Then we would not place any value on them because they do not have any sentience or conscious, right? We would
That's
not
actually
place
not
any
even the
value on it.
entailment of my argument. It's just to say that it's not granted the same value as being a person. So you can still grant some value. It's just not enough value in order to say that it should take away from someone else's bodily autonomy. But do they have enough of value to say that you shouldn't just purposefully unalive them, like, say, using a knife or something? Of course, I would say that you purposefully shouldn't do that. But again, if you are doing so to maintain your bodily autonomy, right, and it's a necessary outcome of maintaining your bodily autonomy, given that it's prior to sentience, right, obviously that would make sense. Does my view make sense there? Where it's not necessarily that we're going to say there's no value, in the same way that we wouldn't say that there's not necessarily no value with an individual that's brain dead. We don't think that just someone should just any random person just be able to go up to them and stab them with a knife. That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yet they still have they're still not a person at that point, and that's why it's not murder
Yeah.
for the family to pull the plug on them,
Yeah.
even
And
though
I
they
totally
still have
understand your-
cellular human life. Just to clarify.
Yeah, and I totally understand your point. I completely respect your point as well, or your stance, I should say. But I'm so sorry. But yeah, I forgot the question I was going to ask you. But real quick, I was going to point out to your chat. I'm so sorry if it seems like I'm debating them more than you. But your chat is following a fallacy, also known as as the expertise fallacy. And they are also accusing me of using AI, even though I did take time to write out my premises. But
Well, I think when they say that you're using AI, it's either using AI or reading something.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that, I think
have it on
that's
a
what the
Word
claim that
document.
they're making. Some other people were claiming that you're using something, in terms of
Yeah,
reading something,
no.
which we
Yeah, I'm
technically were
using-
reading something. There's no issue with you,
Yeah.
by the way, coming with notes and being prepared. If anything, I tell people that they should do this because it's like indicative of the fact that they're going to be able to engage more. So I actually
Yeah.
I prefer that genuinely because I think it's better than like if you didn't have, things that you were going to come with. And I also think it was good that you came and you wanted to argue and you also had certain points that you were willing to engage with and also that you're open
Yeah.
to changing your view, and it seems like you are. It seems like you're engaging very genuinely right now. So I guess the point that I'm making is that because I value it based upon human sentient life, I don't see it to be
Yeah.
murdered prior to the point of sentience. Therefore, in practically every single circumstance where an abortion occurs, it's totally okay and justified because we care more about the bodily autonomy than the cellular life that has yet to develop sentience.
Yeah. Would you go ahead and explain me, as a fetus who is under 24 weeks and does not have any sentience or consciousness, why it does not have as much value as like a newborn would have? Because we do place a value on newborns that we don't place on such as embryos or fetuses. I shouldn't really say a fetus because a fetus isn't until the second trimester, but an embryo.
Yeah. So why do we place more value? Because of the difference in sentience. That's why. So like,
Okay.
and I think that you also do this intuitively. So, but I think all of our moral values are going to rely on some typical intuition that we have. And then we're going to explain our intuitions with these different types of moral reasoning. And I think that's how we can clarify it to other people. But inevitably, it's going to boil down, if you ask enough times, to like some sort of intuition or value that you have. And so that's going to be based upon us as individuals. I think the same thing is present within you, because if we were to say you're in a burning building and you could either save 2 zygotes, or no, we'll go 2 embryos, or 1 newborn baby, which would you rather save, given that you know that the 2 embryos will be people in the future?
Yeah, I know this sounds absolutely horrible with me, and people make me out to be a bad person, but I would much rather save the 2 embryos, right? That could later be put into IVF and be able to be given birth to and live as a life, right? But there was a fallacy here.
Wait, you would much rather save the 2 embryos? Like, really?
Yes, but
Like, if you
there
were in a
was
burning building, you'd rather save the 2 embryos that couldn't possibly experience being burnt alive over the 1 newborn baby that absolutely would experience it.
Yeah, I would much rather the embryos. Okay, I know it does sound absolutely horrible of me, but yeah, there was a I'm trying to remember I'm so sorry. Oh, a dichotomy or dichotomy. I forgot how to pronounce it, but it's the false dichotomy fallacy of where you're putting a situation, right, and you're only giving two responses for that situation, right? But yeah, even if in that situation with the 2 responses, I would rather save the embryos. If I could save the newborn and the embryos, I would try to obviously save both. But if I am given to have one option, I would much rather save the embryos.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of like the it's a typical hypothetical. It's essentially just supposed to determine whether or not you value one more than the other in the circumstance. Obviously, you would prefer that neither of them die in the circumstance, and that you could save both of them. But it's in the event that you could either save one or the other, just to essentially show you whether or not you value one or the other more. And essentially, what I'm trying to demonstrate, in which I mean, I think you have an intuition that practically no one has. Do I think this intuition exists? Of course. But do I think that most people have this intuition? Definitely not. I think if I were to talk to most people, they would have the intuition that they'd rather save the newborn baby. And what explains why they'd rather save the newborn baby? Because of the fact that it would experience things, and it has an experience. It's already had it meets the criteria of past or present and future subjective experience. So I think that your view relies on cellular life and future subjective experience, which I think is obviously going to yield absurd outcomes, such as the one we just mentioned. With the embryos, there was future subjective experience, and there was cellular human life. But obviously, I don't think that we value just cellular human life in the same way that we value past or present subjective experience.
Yeah. I'm so sorry I don't want to seem like I'm pivoting or trying to burden shift, but would you give me, because we did skip over this, would you give me your qualifications on what someone needs to be able to meet personhood, just so I can understand a little better?
What are my qualifications for personhood? So, they are specifically past or present and future subjective experience.
Would you repeat that one last time? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, past or present and future subjective experience. And obviously human is on top of all of this, but this is just for within human beings, so. Yeah,
I think I've already asked this question. If I haven't, if I have, I'm really sorry for seeming repetitive. But why does sentience give someone value? Why does sentience and consciousness give someone such value that they can uphold it over somebody else's life? If that other life does not have the same sentience or consciousness as they do.
Why do I value sentient lives more than non-sentient lives?
Yeah. Well, I'm so sorry. I misheard you. I just said on auto, but yeah.
I guess I guess at a certain point, if you ask me where my values come from, it can be kind of a question like this: like, why do you value human life over plant life? Right? You're going to have these sort of reasons, but inevitably speaking, if I kept asking you based upon those reasons, it would inevitably be that you seem to have the value for humans, but you don't have the value for non-humans. Like, for example, the typical way you could answer the question is that humans meet a particular threshold of rationality, so members of that particular species are going to be granted this value, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be a distinction between them. But if you really ask them a question like, okay, why do beings that meet a particular threshold of rationality get this more value than beings that don't? Well, that's going to inevitably fall on some question of, oh, it's just based upon the value, the intuition that you have. So I feel like once you're going to ask me enough questions here, where inevitably it's going to get me to a position where I'm going to be like, well, this is going to be a core value. I have these sort of inferential positions or reasons as to why I hold this position, as to why I value things like experience over not having an experience, such as desires and obviously goals and experiences. There's so many more complex things that come from an experience that are going to be reasons as to why I value the experience. But it's also to say that like all of those are going to inevitably rely on me having a value, right, or an intuition. So it all bases on the value of an intuition, and then I'm going to have all these inferential reasons as to why.
Yeah. So, a real quick question: Would you value a coma patient more over than a I am making a fallacy here, but a coma patient over than a what was I gonna say? I forgot. Like just like a fetus, right? Would you value a coma patient more than a fetus, or a pig more than a fetus?
Like a fetus that has
Embryo, I
sentience,
should
or a
say.
fetus that does not have sentience?
Yeah, I should have said embryo. I'm sorry, but
Oh, an embryo? I would definitely value someone in a coma over an embryo.
Okay, would
Because
you value a pig over an embryo?
someone who's in a coma has the past experience and the future experience.
Right, but it is a 20% chance to recover from a coma, and I
Even
can
so.
give you my source. Yeah, it's from
Even
the
so.
National.
Even so, right? It's the fact that they have a past and a future.
Yeah. Real quick question, because there obviously we will be able to develop better medical technology as we get older and things become more advanced, right? But how right now, as our current technology, right? How can we just go with the assumption that a fetus has sentience at only 24 weeks at only 24 weeks?
How can we make that determination? Well, neuroscientists indicate this based upon papers. I trust science, right, and scientists at making these types of determinations. I don't think I could make these determinations myself.
Okay, so
I'm not like a PhD in science, so.
Yeah, so even if like 5 years later or 10 years later, right, into the future, and they actually discovered that the fetus or the embryo, I should say, has sentience or has a
You cut out.
because it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my phone's at 10%. But let's say we are 5-10 years into the future here, and we find out that the embryo actually gains a form of sentience and consciousness at 13 weeks, because that is when most abortions are common. Would you change your perspective on how you see abortion, or
I think
no?
it's very unlikely to happen based upon the science that exists. If there was a different position, would I change my position on when abortions, like when it has sentience? Yes, I would change my position based on the science, what indicates the evidence indicates it to be true. That would change my view in terms of the descriptive view. From a normative perspective, one thing to take into account is that it would also be that if we have the ability to identify these things in science, we're benefiting in terms of science and it's progressing. Well, the same thing is true for viability as well. So viability is going to decrease over time, right, to be an earlier state than what it is right now, based upon medical technological advances. So it's very likely that it would be very similar to where viability is anyway. So that would just be an induction of labor at that point anyway. But again, would I value, would sentience, if science indicates sentience begins earlier, would I believe science? Yes.
Okay. 1 second. So, just real quick back to the statement that I made earlier. So, the science is based on the availability to detect. We now have determined over the last 10 years the ability to detect fetal activity much earlier than was known in the past. 40 years ago, a woman could not take a pregnancy test to determine pregnancy until nearly 10 weeks. With advances in technology, we can say we will continue to be able to detect signs earlier and earlier, right? So to the statement that you made earlier, that it's more than likely not possible that we would be able to, if there is sentience or consciousness.
Well, that's because of the types of structures that exist in the brain. I think that there's not a basis for it until really the prefrontal cortex and the thalamocortical connections, because that's what integrates the mind and body, right? I think that's the basis for establishing sentience. I think that there's pretty good science indicating that. Could that change? Of course. Our understanding in science could change. But the issue is that I don't think it would be established anywhere near that early, even if this understanding would change.
Yeah. So earlier back to my immensely argument that I had made against you. So they do have a form of they do since they are missing most of their brain, scalp, and everything else, right? Um, they still like I forgot what I was gonna say. But they do still like have some form of sentience and consciousness, right? I swear I just had the argument, but would you like to make a different argument to maybe debate on? But yeah, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I would love to. I would love to. How far do you go? Like, is there anything Trump could do that would get you to support Kamala Harris over Donald Trump?
Not necessarily. It I I more so depend on the policies rather than character, right? I know that sounds really bad. I will admit that Trump has done
Can I give an
I know that
example?
Trump huh?
Can I give an example?
Of what?
Like of something he could do that would maybe to get you to like think otherwise with in terms of character?
Well, we already have seen. I don't agree with a lot of the things that he's done with his character, right? But even if, right, if he did something that I absolutely hated and I left him for, I would find a different conservative or Republican candidate to support
There we go. That's
rather
kind of the
than
that's what I'm trying to get you to realize.
yeah,
Essentially, the point that I'm trying to say is that you can still be Republican and not support Donald Trump, right?
yeah.
And but that still could mean that you would support Kamala Harris over Donald Trump in that particular election, or that you wouldn't vote.
Even even if he did do something absolutely stupid, I would prefer Trump over his
Okay.
policies rather than his character. I know it
Okay.
sounds terrible
Can I
of
ask you
me.
a question then? Would you vote for
Yeah, go
Kamala
ahead.
Harris or Adolf Hitler with Donald Trump's policies?
My dad, my dad's listening right now, and he's spectating. But what he said, uh, fallacy of a hypothetical. But I know it sounds absolutely horrible of me, but I mean, it is kind of difficult to say without looking like a bad person.
Right? Like
But
I think this
yeah,
clearly demonstrates, intuitively speaking, that you care about character to some degree. I'm not even saying that Trump's character is the same as Hitler's character. That's not the claim I'm making. I'm just claiming that there
yeah,
can be a character so bad, insofar is that it overrides the way you view their policy being better. Okay? So essentially, I'm trying to argue that this standard for disqualification applies to Donald Trump in terms of his character. So although you agree with this policy, you still should not support Donald Trump, and you should instead support other Republicans.
yeah. Um, um. So I'm sorry, but in this, I would probably vote for Adolf, but it is a false equivalent
You would vote
between
for
Trump and
Adolf
Hitler.
Hitler?
But
You seriously you're willing to die on that hill? Are you serious?
here,
You'd
here,
be
wait.
willing to vote for
Let
Adolf
me take
Hitler with Donald Trump's policy? Are you serious?
let, 1 second, 1 second. Let me take my words back. It is still difficult to make a. I don't think I'll be able to come up with a final saying. But if there are other conservative or Republican candidates out there that I would vote for rather than Adolf or Kamal being my only options, right? But the chat wants you to debate my dad, so I may ask him if he wants to debate you. But yeah,
I would
obviously
definitely
the
debate
choice
him as
is
well, but like I guess the point I want to make is that I don't think you actually have that intuition, and you're currently just saying that because you want to be consistent.
yeah, I do want to be consistent. I don't want to be inconsistent with my logic. It
I
wouldn't be
get
very
wanting
good
to
for
be
an argument,
consistent,
right?
but like the reason in
Yeah,
the point as to why I brought up that example is because I know that any reasonable person would concede in that circumstance. That's why I gave that explicit example, is because I know that in your own head you realize that that's a good reason to say that you do care about character
yeah,
to some degree.
yeah. Um, but yeah, it is a tough decision to make on that. But yeah. So I'm gonna ask my dad if he's willing to hit you up on a
Go ahead.
debate because I'm getting nervous. All right, my daddy said yeah. I'm
Alrighty,
gonna
I'll talk to
listen to
him.
this.
Hi, hello, how are you?
How are you? I'm doing good.
Doing well, doing well. I apologize. I'm not as familiar as my daughter is. What I start with, I don't know your name. I apologize.
Don't worry, my name is Parker.
Nice to meet you, Parker. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. What's your name?
My name is Ross.
Nice to meet you, Ross. Nice to meet you. So why do you support
Yes,
Donald
sir.
Trump?
So it's less about supporting Donald Trump as an individual. So I'll tell you that I voted for other candidates in the primary, in the 2016 primary. Of course, the 2024 from 2020 primaries were fairly decided before they actually happened for the Republican Party, right? We both know that. Sort of like the Democratic primary in 2024 was already decided, right? You would agree that there were other candidates, but Biden was winning the primary. And then Harris, by nature of Biden winning the primary, became the candidate. So we can discuss that. But, I did vote for other candidates in the primary. Trump was not my first pick for the office there. But, in comparison of the two available options in both of the 2016, 2020, and 2024 elections, to me, in my evaluation, Trump was the better candidate, was the better person based on my personal beliefs and my personal policies. Granted, he is abrasive. Granted, he has a tendency to not be as politically coiffed as we would like, right? But some of that has allowed him to have a certain amount of effectiveness in certain areas. Now, there are policies with Trump that I will die on the hill that they are horrible. Right, the 10% cap on credit card interest. I'm much more of an Austrian economist, much more of an Austrian theory. I have a master's degree in economics, so I believe in the Mises school, in the Hayek school. But in those instances, Trump's exactly wrong on his policy. Right, it's horrible policy. It's more akin to what I would imagine Biden would have run on had he maintained in the race. So. But, we have to evaluate the candidates that are in front of us. We can't just evaluate based on hypotheticals or this candidate could have or maybe or would have or should have or whatever we'd like.
I do think hypotheticals are going to be relevant towards how we view the values that we have, and I guess that we can sort of make determinations based upon that. If you're an Austrian economist, wouldn't you just consider both of them so bad insofar as you wouldn't want to support him? Because Trump's less fiscally responsible, meaning he signed off on more debt-related spending, according to the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget. But he's also bolstering a bunch of different regulations as well, things that just he supports in certain industries. So the deregulatory factors that he's advocating for are only specific to certain industries, the same way that Kamala Harris was advocating for some deregulation just specific to certain industries and increased regulation in other areas.
So comparing the two candidates and contrasting them, while Trump is definitely not a libertarian or Austrian economist by any factor, he definitely is closer to what an Austrian would look for. He's the lesser of two evils in the stance of economic region there. Where again, I would love to say that there's a legitimate third party, fourth party option in the United States, but we are not at a point where there's a legitimate third or fourth party option. We are in a two-party system, whether we like it or not. We are comparing and contrasting who of those two-party candidates are the best option for us. We saw in 2016 that the reason Hillary lost in Michigan and several other states and Wisconsin was due to the Green Party. Hillary carries those states if you subtract the Green Party vote from those states and give them to Hillary, which the Green Party would never have voted for Trump. So the Green Party candidate and that's why Jill Stein actually tried to get herself removed from the ballot in those states leading up to the election because she realized it had a chance to sway the election in favor of Trump against Hillary. So we see that it's unfortunate dichotomy that we have in this country is that we have a two-party system. We look at Europe, we look at South America, we see there's a more robust party ecosystem where there are a plethora of parties and options and more honed in opportunities. You look at candidates like Rand Paul, Thomas Massie, who, really are more libertarian in their beliefs, but they still caucus with the Republican Party, run as Republicans because it gives them the best opportunity to win. Same with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is an independent who caucuses with the Democrats because it gives him the best chance to win his elections and gives him the best, when he runs for president or runs for higher office, he runs as a Democrat because running as an independent is a death sentence for any candidate at that level.
I guess here I'll ask you, how is Trump more libertarian?
Trump has a lot of more deregulatory effect than Kamala Harris has proven to have over her career. Now he's not perfect on deregulation by any means, but he's had a much larger deregulatory effect. You look at things such as oil and gas policy. You look at things such as DEF fluid. I don't know if you're familiar with DEF. I don't know how much you have on that knowledge, but DEF is a diesel exhaust fluid. The Trump EPA has just recently starting the process of deregulating DEF fluid. It's a death sentence if you have a diesel vehicle, even if you have a small diesel car and you have DEF in it. Your maintenance bills are going to go way up. Your fuel mileage goes way down because of DEF. It actually has an adverse effect on fuel mileage. It has a stated goal of decreasing carbon emissions, but it decreases overall fuel mileage and fuel economy. So you have vehicles that could make 20, 25, 30 miles to the gallon with diesel engines that are making 15, 18 miles to the gallon because of DEF systems choking back the emission system. There's other deregulatory effects. Now, I don't like his approach to the Fed. Of course, I'm an in the Fed guy. I would rather have no fiscal policy, no federal policy whatsoever. But at the end of the day, when I have to evaluate two candidates and what I believe in, not only when it comes to fiscal policy, but also in terms of social policy, which I would consider myself socially liberal. I'm what's called a closed door libertarian. I believe what happens in your home between you and a consenting partner is your business. If that's a male and male, if that's female, female, if that's male, female, if that's multiple males, multiple females, I don't care. It's inside your home. Everybody inside that home consents. It doesn't pertain to me. It shouldn't be part of my business. It's your right to live your life and associate freely how you choose to do so. I have my religion, but my religion cannot apply to you in terms of how you decide to live your life.
Okay, for sure. So there's a few things at least I would like to address here. There are deregulations on both sides, whether it be the Democrats and the Republicans. It's just where the deregulations are placed. And I do think the deregulations posited through the EPA are actually harmful because many of those circumstances led to a benefit rather than there being more risks from imposing the regulation. So I think it leads to more economic efficiency, right, to impose the regulation and to limit specifically this type of pollution, because that type of pollution will lead to health effects and negative impacts in other Americans that are obviously just going to be out of not their own choices, right? So I guess those would be the relevant facts for me. I don't actually see how that would be where you'd want to deregulate in comparison to like the broader government, because it's not just that in terms of regulation. There's also the Trump imposing more regulations in the border and trying to impose, right, a greater level of militarization of the border. That's something that you're against as an Austrian. You're also against specifically Donald Trump exercising, threats against the Constitution. Right?
There's a wide range of libertarians who are against border enforcement, and there's a wide range of libertarians who are not. There's a group of libertarians, specifically the Mises Caucus, that tends to be in favor of less enforcement along the border. But there's also a portion that follows Friedman more closely. Friedman was advocating in favor of an open border, but he was advocating in favor of an open border that had, just laws to make sure movement between the borders were able to be done and that countries' autonomy still occurred correctly. So what we can say is that I've written policy that would be considered a wall with gates, right? I want to get back to pre-World War II immigration policy, where it's much easier to come into the country, much less cost to the immigrant. The immigrant's able to come in and out of the country as needed, but has to declare, has to come and make themselves known to the country, has to come into a port of entry, has to be able to get here. I hired many legal asylum seekers from Venezuela in my time as an engineer in the oil and gas industry, and I'll point to my bias there. Of course, I have a bias towards the oil and gas industry, as I have worked in the oil and gas industry. I do not anymore, but at the end of the day, I've hired many people from France, Venezuela, Indonesia, India. And what I can say is that we've made a very complicated immigration system that is very hard for the immigrant to traverse and very expensive. You're talking $8,000 per person on average to try to immigrate into the country. The median salary of a Nicaraguan or a Honduran is about $8,000 a year. So you're asking them to spend their entire yearly salary. Now, the old adage here, is that Democrats and Republicans will never fix the immigration system because Democrats want the vote, Republicans want the cheap labor.
Well,
I don't
I
know if
just
you've
want
ever
to
heard that
clarify.
saying.
I heavily disagree with you here. I think that you actually agree with the Democratic policy because you want the legal process to go quicker, which is the exact same thing that Democrats are advocating for. Democrats are
But
advocating
Democrats
for the
have
legal
had
process
power
to
and
go quicker
never actually.
because it relies
The
on
Democrats have
Congress
had
passing
power.
things. Like, for example,
It
there
does.
was a bill, and Donald Trump called for people in Congress to undermine that bipartisan border bill. There are conditions that Democrats want
But
to
that
be able to
bipartisan
pass, but it
that
relies
bipartisan
on
border
working
bill
with
did
people in
not make.
Congress.
You're correct. I agree with you on the congressional process, but the bipartisan border bill would have done nothing to speed up or lessen the burden on the immigrant to get across the
No,
border. It would have
I'm
made
trying to explain.
asylum an easier process. Go ahead.
So I'm just trying to explain. They do have this plan, right, in terms of trying to make the legal process go quicker. I'm just saying if they can't even get them specifically to engage in the bipartisan border bill in Congress, they're not even going to be able to get them on the table for this particularly. Now, again, I would love that. I would love for them to come to a bill for that, and Democrats absolutely do support that in terms of getting a quicker legal immigration process. It's mostly Republicans that are going to disagree with you on that one, including
I
Donald
think
Trump.
you would find that. I think you would find if you look back at voting history for Joe Biden himself, he's voted against very bills that were offered by Republicans and had vast wide support from bipartisan support. Back in the early 90s, in the early 2000s, and the late 90s, Joe Biden actually voted against several bills that would have accomplished immigration reform such as that. You know, Kamala Harris doesn't have a voting history that. I'm sorry, I apologize. Doesn't have a. Vice President Harris. I'll root to that because we can agree that she was vice president and she deserves the respect of that office. Correct? Just as any person who has obtained that level of office, whether we agree with them or disagree with them. I served in the military under President Obama for 8 years. Right? Did I agree with his policy? Not particularly. Did I serve and salute and every time I saw the opportunity? Yes, because he was the president. He was my commander in chief. Regardless of whether I agreed with any individual policy is irrelevant to the fact that he deserved the respect of the office he held. So the tan suit thing, that's the most hilarious bit of American history. President Obama coming out in a tan suit was a national scandal. Most ridiculous thing ever. Like the dude looked pretty good in a tan suit. I think you'll agree, right? The man looked pretty shapely in a tan suit, of course.
Yeah,
so,
I can't even believe that was talked about. Like, that's actually, like,
right,
it seems like we're living in a completely different reality.
Republican news pundits have a very good history of shooting themselves in the damn foot. So when it comes to national outreach and national media, it's a big part of my life has been spent trying to reinvigorate libertarian, Austrian, conservative ideals, especially amongst, inner city, amongst the African American and Latino communities. The GOP a long time ago, and, we can get into that for a long time. The GOP pretty much abandoned inner city outreach, right? You see Scott Pressler, who's actually had more to do with inner city outreach than the entirety of the Republican Party, because the Republican Party just sees no value in trying to put money into going after inner city urban areas. It's unfortunate because I think there is a lot of conservative, fiscally and socially conservative policies that do reach the Latino community. We see the Latino community in South Texas, who has recently
can I ask
started
you a
turning
few
back.
questions, actually?
Go ahead.
Let's keep going through this. So it seems like you say that, like, you slightly agree with Donald Trump to a greater extent in terms of your economic policy. Do you only vote on economic policy?
No. So I vote on social policy. I vote on economic policy. I vote on moral belief, right? I vote on many different characteristics. So again, if you were to ask me, did I want Trump to win the Republican primary in 2016? The answer is no. I had 3 or 4 candidates above Donald Trump in the Republican primary. But I had to...
But I guess I'm asking you, like, if in a race between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, is there anything Trump could do that would get you to, say, support Kamala Harris over Donald Trump?
Kamala, Vice President Harris, because the pronunciation of the first name is something I'll struggle with and continue to struggle with, so I'll just defer to Vice President Harris. Vice President Harris's policy and history of policy was such that it would have been a very long road to hoe for her to get anywhere that I would have been able to support her. Her support of some of fiscal policy. She has in the past threatened to seize patents If a company doesn't do what the government wants, she's on video saying if a company doesn't do what the government wants, we'll just seize their patents because actually it's the government who owns the patents of the company. As a patent holder myself, that's terrifying, right? I spend the time and resources and money
Do you
to
agree
go
with
through the
patents? Like from an
Yeah, I agree
Austrian
with
perspective, you agree with patents?
I agree. You know, if there's two different perspectives here. There's a perspective we live in, and there's a perspective I want. Right. The perspective we live in is that patents exist to protect intellectual property, and if the government is going to go through that process, and that is the process that we have, and that's the process that we live in. You know, there's the ideal and there's the reality. Right. There's what if I was,
you ideally don't want the patents to exist, correct?
I ideally don't want the patents, but I definitely don't want the government being able to seize intellectual and or physical physical property.
So to clarify, you wouldn't support someone enacting an Austrian method of the economy that seized all the patents of people and got rid of patenting.
That's not what she said, though. She said seize the patents and the government would own the intellectual property and be able to profit off of the intellectual property.
Sure. That was her position,
I mean,
but would you agree with seizing patents in that context?
I would if you were to say not seizing patents, if you were to say I support getting rid of the patent system, allowing all current patents to run their course, not seize. Okay. So you could say, okay, we have 20-year patents, right? That's what a patent is good for, is 20 years, correct? You could say, hey, as of today, the United States government will no longer issue or process patent claims. Moving forward, intellectual property is trade secret. It's yours to keep. It's yours to maintain. It's yours to continue and keep within yourself. We say, hey, look, anybody who has a patent, we're going to let it age out. Once all these patents age out, we no longer will have patents in the United States. I would support that. But the government coming through and saying, we now own the patent, we now own the intellectual property, and we can market and sell that intellectual property, no, I don't agree with that. Because what we see then is that's government taking ownership of intellectual property, and I would never agree with that as an Austrian.
How do you feel about Trump saying that he wanted to take 10% of Intel?
I wouldn't support that, right? I wouldn't support that. But again, if you were to...
So, what could Donald Trump do to get you to stop supporting him, given that, they've both done things there that have been encroaching upon private property?
Right. So what you're asking is stop supporting Donald Trump versus to start supporting Kamala Harris, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So again, I apologize. I'm not attempting to be disrespectful.
You're fine. Of course. I don't think you are.
So my aim is not to be disrespectful to the former vice president. So the dichotomy here is the binary choice between supporting one candidate over the other. And that's what you're asking me. So do I support President Trump in every single policy that he has? No. And you could search my Twitter account. It's just my name. And it's, and I'm an OG blue check. I don't pay for it, by the way. I got my blue check in 2019 at 34 followers. I have no clue why they gave it to me. I thought I was being scammed. I thought somebody was trying to scam my Twitter account because I just started a random Twitter account and got an email saying, hey, congratulations, your Twitter account is verified. So don't ask me how, don't ask me why. I think, to my knowledge, Lady Gaga was the only person to get verified with less followers. And that's because nobody knew she had an account at that point. But any which way, I digress. There's many policies that I don't support that President Trump has. And there's many policies that I wish he would back off of or that he would start to. You can have your the ideal here is that the thing I like to say is the only perfect candidate is yourself. Right? You're the only person who's going to agree with everything you say. If I put 1,000 Democrats in a room, I put 1,000 Republicans or 1,000 Libertarians, you're going to get 1,000 different answers every time about what their ideals are and exactly what they believe. There's vast differences in belief amongst the Democratic Party. There's vast differences in belief amongst the Republican Party. There's vast differences in belief amongst the Libertarian Party. Right? My goal is to de-weaponize the government, is to reduce the amount of power the federal government has, get back to the federalist society that we were originally promised, where the federal government has its 3 core competencies, which is, protection of treaties, the protection of international trade, to stand up a military and protect the homeland, and to be able to, negotiate between the states and ensure the states are able to operate within each other, create the interstate system. Other than that, the federal government should have such small power that it should almost be inconsequential in far of our daily lives. I would rather your city councilman have a far bigger impact on your daily life than the president, vice president, or the Supreme Court or anybody in Congress. You know, we need to get, to my opinion, is we need to get back to trusting our neighbors, allowing our neighbors to live their lives. I fear that during the Cold War, the lobster.
I'm gonna try and keep us. I get the general point you're trying to make, and I think
Right.
we'll wrap back in that conversation in a second. I just want to clarify kind of the point that I was trying to get to, is that like what specifically could Donald Trump do that would get you to sort of flip that sort of idea and see, oh, Kamala Harris would have been preferable to get to the place that you want to get to rather than Donald Trump.
If Trump continues, and I'll give you an example, you know, to your point of something he's already doing, and I alluded to it earlier, is the 10%, you know, cap on credit card. It sounds great, and it sounds great in theory, right? But the government should not set interest rates in any form, fashion, or shape. That's, you know, the government should be out of the market, things of that nature. Trump does have a tendency to want to use more government power to control the market. He's trying to, you know, I don't agree with the Fed setting fiscal policy whatsoever, but if they are, the president should not be able to dictate what interest rates are. So those are type of, can you hear me? I apologize.
Yeah, I do hear you now.
So if President Trump continues to go down these very bad fiscal policies, then what I would want to see is him either end his term and a much more fiscally representative Republican or Libertarian / candidate get elected, or to see what other options are there and to evaluate those options. So, you know, there's not the instance that I would never vote for a Democrat, but there is the instance that, you know, if I were to judge the Democrats that I would vote for, former Vice President Harris is not very high on the list of candidates that would be Democrats that I would vote for.
Okay. So you would say that if Donald Trump engaged in more policy where the government is determining how the economy should function, you'd stop supporting him. So I guess we could say like tariffs. I guess we could say like his like enforcement policy in terms of immigration. I guess we could say, you know, plenty of those things that would be like the 10% of intel. I feel like those things would meet your threshold then if that was the case.
So again, if you're comparing to the former vice president, right, or are we comparing to a hypothetical unknown candidate?
Former
Those
vice
are the two
president.
things we have to determine. So if it's according to former vice president, while what Trump has done is not ideal to me, he still, in my perspective and what I know of the former vice president, he still, to me, is the better overall option when it comes to those policies. Now, I don't like the policies, some of the policies he's doing. I like some of the other policies he's doing. He is not negative in a threshold. But if I am comparing him to the former vice president and what I know about her former economic policies, especially as a senator, especially as a former attorney general, and I go and look at her votes in the Senate and look at what she voted for, which a lot of the things she spoke about in the campaign trail that she was against or for, she has a voting record that is contradictory to that, a lot of what she spoke about. So as former President Biden as well has many instances where, you know, former President Biden called homosexual people a national security threat back in the early 2000s when we were discussing legalizing same-sex marriage.
I would like to see those clips, but of course
opinions and views change over time.
Yeah. So I mean, I would like to see that clip, but we can also acknowledge that people's views change over time.
Go ahead. I apologize.
And then secondly, I guess I want to talk about this.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was just finishing.
So if Donald Trump called for the execution of some Democrats because they said to follow the law and to not follow unlawful orders, would you still vote for him?
So of course not. If you know, as a former military member, I can tell you that the criteria for what is considered a lawful or unlawful order is very high, and it is, you know, very incumbent on the soldier who is disobeying to prove that that was an unlawful order. And I can say that while we can disagree with the policies or procedures of the current president, as I did when I served from 2008 to 2018, we can say that the orders given to me by President Barack Obama were still lawful orders. Whether I agreed with his policy or his actions or not, the order as he stands in his constitutional duty as a commander-in-chief was still a lawful order. Sedition is a crime. Now, of course, execution should not be the punishment for anything that is currently happening. I think you're alluding to Senator Kelly, who made a video calling on soldiers to remind themselves that they don't have to follow an unlawful order. Senator Kelly did, in that video, while I don't personally like the way Senator Kelly and the rest of them made that video, in their defense, they did not report of any specific order that should be disobeyed. They did not come out and tell any specific order that should be inherently disobeyed. So they just gave a general reminder. Does that meet the criteria of sedition? Listen, you can, lawyers will chase a bus, right? Lawyers will always chase an ambulance. So somebody's going to try something. There's always going to be somebody who's willing to do something. So
But do we think
they'll
that
try to
categorizes
try.
as sedition? I think that we definitely disagree with the categorization of that being sedition. And then for
No,
Donald
I'm
Trump
saying
to repost...
I don't think it.
Go ahead.
I don't think it meets the criteria of sedition myself. Right.
Okay.
I think in my view, it doesn't meet the category of sedition. I think it's a little bit of just the DOG being a little hardball, a little bit of its politics. The Republican Party, a lot of Republicans are getting a little restless. They feel like President Biden went after Republicans and, did a lot more warfare through the DOJ at the time, labeling parents who stood up at school board meetings as potential domestic terrorists, things of that
I don't
nature.
even think they
And
did that. I think that Trump has been doing that with saying like Antifa, domestic terrorists and whatnot. Like anyone who's anti-fascist.
You can look back to 2021, 2022. The Biden DOJ very much did come out and use the FBI to investigate parents who were speaking out against, say, trans athletes utilizing the same bathroom or same locker room as a female student, parents coming to a school board and saying, hey, I don't agree with that. I don't want my daughters to be in the same locker room as a biological male. And for then the FBI to show up and investigate them and claim that there's potential for domestic terrorism. I welcome you to,
Can you give me a circumstance where that was the case? I don't
There was a
believe that
parent in
happened.
Tennessee. There was a parent in Tennessee. There was also a parent in Virginia who came forward. Parents in Virginia who came forward at school board meetings, speaking very, adamantly, maybe even, getting loud and boisterous in their attitude that they did not want their daughters. There was a situation with a school in Virginia where a young lady, unfortunately, had been sexually assaulted, or that they're potentially
could you give
sexually
me
assaulted.
maybe a media source that reports on this that I could point to?
I can find one.
We can find it. I can give you, my daughter can post the link here in the chat if you'd like.
Because there would be like certain reasons why they would be charged if it was the case, like if there was threats or something like that. But if there weren't, we would say that's something to be addressed. But I just don't think who did the Biden-Harris administration indicate was a domestic terrorist?
The parents who spoke at those meetings.
And real quick, while my dad's
Love to
looking it
see,
up and
for sure.
finding a credible source for everybody in the chat, without saying my dad's just yapping and talking a lot, it is how you keep a productive debate and conversation between two people.
Sure,
I'm not
there's
worried.
No
He
need
did-
to address that.
He would, it's his show. He would step in if he felt I was talking too much and tell me to shut up. He could kick us off the show. I feel he's been very, very polite, very, very reasonable to have a discussion with. I appreciate that we've had a very reasonable discussion based on our own personal beliefs.
Yeah. So I mean, we can just address the points. Like I have multiple points I can address. We can go through. The point that I want to mainly get to is like it seems like based upon the argument here that Donald Trump, because he did repost someone calling for the execution of like Mark Kelly, for example, and he didn't engage in sedition under your worldview, wouldn't that be grounds for saying that you wouldn't support him? Because you did say that you wouldn't support him if he was calling for the death of some Democrats because of that reason.
Again, social media posts are what they are. I don't disagree with you that there's a valid point there that the president shouldn't be engaging in certain activities like that. Trump, as I stated earlier, Trump has a tendency to be brash. We saw this yesterday at the Ford plant. I think we could all agree that wasn't his best moment, right? Flipping off a person who was just, voicing his own opinion. Ignore him, walk away from him, just leave the situation. Trump's got a brashness to him that is not always ideal, not always keen. But again, if you are comparing and contrasting the two candidates to each other, which I believe you are, between the former vice president and the current president, while his brashness is something that I don't support, he has, in his own right, not gone out and forced the DOJ to do anything that would lead to the execution of Senator Kelly. While he can repost things and he can say things and he can be brash, there's a little bit to him that's that bravado. While I don't agree with it, while I don't think it's the most effective way to get the outcomes he's looking for, and it leads to more scrutiny than is necessary in instances.
So to clarify, saying it is not
actions,
enough. Saying it is not enough. He has to do it.
So it's not even if he were to take legitimate steps towards actually seeing that uncover and seeing that occur. I think what you're going to see very quickly is the DOJ is going to push out that they're looking at Senator Kelly for sedition. And in probably about 6 months, we're going to hear that there's not anything worth them actually pushing for federal charges and moving forward. I think what you're seeing here is a little bit of political banter where the Republican Party, under Trump's own party, is starting to turn against him to an extent because they're frustrated by the lack of activity and what they feel is political retribution for what they feel was persecution under the Biden DOJ. Whether that is justified or not is a matter sometimes of political belief. We can all agree that there are January 6th people who should have been arrested, who should have been thrown in jail. There are a lot of people at January 6th who just didn't know what the fuck was going on and were just walking around and clueless and, grandma just walking around in circles because she didn't know what was going on is a lot different than the guy who was using a flagpole to break windows and, try to get in, right? And I think we can all agree that there is a nuance to the subject.
Let me clarify. Donald Trump pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers, and he called them patriots. And he also sent false slates of electors to Electoral College to cast Trump votes when he didn't win to try to steal the election. So he actively tried to undermine the 2020 election results, even though I think we both can agree that he did lose.
So
How does that make you feel?
So in 2016, Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters did the exact same thing. Would you stop supporting either of them? Maxine Waters stood in front of Congress during the certification process and told and objected to the election, objected to the certification, which Senator Cruz was chastised for. Maxine Waters did the exact same thing and called on electors to submit their votes for Hillary Clinton, former Secretary Clinton, regardless of whether or not their state actually voted in favor of President Trump or not. Again, the Electoral College is a bit of a misnomer in that each individual elector in the Electoral College is an independent voter and can vote independently of the state's outcome. They don't do that because the state electors are elected by the outcome of the party vote in that state. So in Texas, for instance, our electors are selected once we know that the Republican nominee has won. Therefore, we elect Republican electors who are more likely to cast their vote for the Republican nominee, just as in California. And we see a few states, Maine and Nebraska, that have the split elector system where they can have 3 Republican or one Democrat elector and so forth and so on. And each individual region can select its own elector.
Can I clarify what Maxine Waters did? So Maxine Waters specifically, they were challenging the Electoral College, saying they don't like the Electoral College. 2, they were saying that there was a lot of voter suppression efforts, which obviously there's true to some extent, and then obviously there was Russian interference, which was also true. Now that doesn't mean they said that the election was overall stolen. They just said that it was tainted by those things.
So again, I never stated that she claimed the election was stolen. I'm saying she objected to the certification of the election, and then attempted to claim that instead of and called for electors to vote for a different candidate than what the state had elected for. Now, it's a fine to call for that. You can call for it all you want. There was, a role in the New York Times article stating, how Hillary can still win the election. That was posted late in December, and it talked about the fact that you could have rogue electors who would still vote for.
Yeah, and I would disagree. I would disagree with doing that. Yeah, if you had rogue electors doing that at that time, I would disagree with that. And I think again, we're talking about Trump, the president, like the presidential candidate doing this.
So
okay?
what you're saying is that
I also
what
do
you're
think
saying
that,
is that there's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I apologize. I interrupted you.
I was like that imposes an also significant threat for the president of the United States to be involved in an action to try to undermine a democratic election. So I do think that that would be a reason to not support someone for president. Yeah, I wouldn't support anyone who would be involved with one of those schemes to be president of the United States. Although what was true in that circumstance was that she won the popular vote.
Yeah, and we can digress to whether or not the validity of the electoral college versus the popular vote. That's a topic for another discussion. The founders clearly thought that not allowing certain areas to have massive vote and sway in the presidential election was valid. We can argue that for years probably, but we'll digress to that to another topic another time. What I'll say is that a lot of times what we see, and unfortunately we've come to a world of era of political retribution. Democrats come into office, they feel they were wronged by Republicans. They want to gain some amount of retribution against the Republicans they feel that were wronged them. Republicans come into office, feel they were wronged by Democrats and want to gain some amount of political retribution. And what happens is it just becomes, a bigger punch for a bigger punch for a bigger punch. It continues to just snowball. We can point fingers all day on who started it.
Genuinely though, Trump does cause it to be worse. Can you at least acknowledge that? If you were to compare Trump and Harris, I think Trump makes it worse compared to Harris.
Trump's first election in 2016 was widely on him being willing to say lock her up to Hillary Clinton in the debate, and amongst the Republican Party, a wide swath of Republicans who feel like government has been weaponized against them, whether right or wrong, indifferent in our beliefs, in our opinion, that feel government has been weaponized against them, that feel that they have been targeted for political retribution or political action, and wanted a candidate who they felt was going to be a strong man, who was going to stand up for them, who was going to go on the offensive against those that they felt had wronged them. I don't believe in the world of political retribution. I believe in the world of incremental policy change. We get there slowly and surely, and we continue to gain culturally adaptation to our policy. That's my perspective on it. Is you're going to catch more flies with honey than vinegar. But of course, we have grown into a more and more weaponized political climate over the last 25, 40 years, probably starting with Nixon, moving into Carter, through Reagan, of course, Bush, Clinton.
Okay, so if we're going to compare, if this is one of these things we do where we compare which one is going to affect that worse, obviously Trump is going to make it worse here. Why would we still support Trump then if we want there to be less political retribution, if we want the country to unify to a greater extent, if we want the country to stop being like that? Obviously, she was willing to compromise, work with the other side. Trump wasn't.
So, I think that's looking in the past in rose-colored glasses. I think if we compare former Vice President Harris's voting record, if we look at her statements as Attorney General, if we look at her statements on the campaign trail, she was more than willing to use the power of government against those who she didn't feel were complying. Right, wrong, indifferent. The COVID era